Gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
Weather, sponsored by Aid Choice.
As we head into overnight, we've got a lot of clouds, a possibility of some showers, low 66. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high 77. Friday, another beautiful day, sunny and 79. Mostly sunny Saturday as well, but a high of 72.
Planning for surgery or medical procedure and need help while recovering at home? Aid Choice lets anyone book short-term help through licensed home care agencies by the hour. Help with meals, errands, light housekeeping, and more. Download the app or visit aidchoice.com.
WPHT, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
It's Opelka, but you knew that, didn't you?
When you want the best in the entire biz.
Oh, thank you.
There's a name the stations call you sure to like. It's America's host, and his name is Mike. Stunt brain, that is. You've heard him before, and you'll hear him again. Everyone loves him when he hosts on 1210.
And welcome to Wednesday. How about that? It's Wednesday already. It's miserable outside. I get that. But it's Wednesday. So we got that going for us, which is nice. To quote the great Rich Zeoli, quoting the great Bill Murray from Caddyshack. You remember the Dalai Lama speech. Anyway, hello. How are you? I missed you. I missed you greatly. I've been away doing good things. I've been doing great things, I believe, for my family. You know, better yet, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. And I want to quote the legendary American philosopher, Christopher Rock. DeSantis, are you familiar with philosopher Christopher Rock? Is Matt with us? Justin, are you with us?
I don't know where DeSantis is.
Sorry, did I lose you there for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know Christopher Rock. I know Chris Rock. Are they the
we
same
start at
person
3 p.m.
Sorry, my access dropped. Is it the same as Chris Rock? If not,
yes.
Then I have no idea. Okay, good.
In philosophical circles, in the circles of the world of philosophy, great thinkers, Christopher Rock is known to many, and he is Chris Rock on the boards of the comedy stages. But are you familiar with Chris Rock's theory on when you do things that you're supposed to do?
I am not.
He was talking about members of his community who were saying that they take care of their kids. They buy them baby food and diapers and stuff. And Chris Rock is fond of saying, you don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. And I agree with him. I totally agree with him. Family and dear friends, we are supposed to take care of each other. So that's what I've been doing for a couple of weeks. I'm back now. I'm in and out. I will be feeding the Pure Opelka podcast on a semi-regular basis. Hasn't happened in a couple of weeks. And the pureopelka.com website, which has all the best topics, I think, except for Matt DeSantis' prep. Brought to you this week by the state of Ohio. Is this true, DeSantis? You have escaped to Ohio for this week?
That is true. I'm right outside of Cincinnati right now, and I'm having similar weather. It sounds like you're having bad weather, and it's been pouring rain all day, although I think the sun just came out randomly.
Yeah, it is a random thing. You must go out and say, we apologize for all the bad things we've done. Please stick around. Tell the sun gods not to go anywhere. The rain that came this weekend, to quote some of the great Texas philosophers, it was raining like a cow peeing on a flat rock. It was just relentless. all weekend long. And so in the middle of all that, yesterday, my roof leaked.
Jeez. Bad timing.
Very bad timing. And it's a slate roof. So it means somebody's going to get a new car when this is done. And it's not me, but I will be paying for it. We shall see. Anyway, as I said, I'm very happy to be with you today. We have a lot going on today. I know we have Dr. Victoria Coates joining us at the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. And in the fourth hour of the show, we're going to have a little fun in the fourth hour of the show, fun with clips. At the bottom of this hour, we're going to talk to Henry Olson, who knows a thing or two about Texas politics. And we're going to talk about what happened in the Texas primary and really what does it mean for the midterms? Does it mean anything for us? So we will dive into that as well. Got to talk about a couple of local stories. One of them just up the highway in New York City, where Mayor Mamdani has decided that he is going to start confiscating private property. Anyone else nervous about this? I know we're all saying, hey, it's New York, what do we care? Well, socialists, democratic socialists, as they call themselves, have gotten a very strong hold over parts of the Northwest in Seattle and Portland. They are running candidates in California, both in the governor's race and the mayor's race. I know everybody's enamored of Spencer Pratt, but don't be surprised if the Democrat socialists, which are really just socialists pretending to be something else, get a toehold. And if they get a West Coast big city, and they've got New York City, you know they're going to be coming for Philadelphia pretty soon afterwards. And the move by Mamdani yesterday that I think took a lot of people by surprise was this push to say that he's going to grab a hold of apartment buildings that he considers the landlords to be not acting appropriate. And he's going to take possession of them. And you got to be thinking, can he do that? Can he? Well, he's mayor now in less than 6 months. We should go through what he said yesterday.
Through our new citywide campaign, Fix the City, we will focus on the worst landlords in New York City.
Now, that sounds great, doesn't it? First of all, who could be upset with fixing the city? Imagine if one of these well-spoken, well-dressed socialists came into Philadelphia and got elected, and they said, we're going to fix the city. Oh, yay. Yes, please, we'll fix the city. And we're going to start by putting in grocery stores that are going to be cheaper, if not free. Okay, how are you going to do that? Who's paying for that? Never mind, we'll get to that. We're going to fix the city, and we're going to start with the landlords. People love it.
When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers.
Now, what's a negligent owner or property manager? What is a negligent owner? Is it somebody who didn't get around to fixing a pipe or a broken elevator or something like that? I think the New York City Department of Housing has a whole bunch of places that they operate as well that maybe they should look into. But go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards.
Interesting. For buildings that have shown us chronic neglect, without telling us what chronic neglect is, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. What the hell are responsible stewards? Certainly it can't be the city of New York, because if you visited New York or any Democrat-run city, you wouldn't exactly say they're responsible stewards. But continue, Mr. Mayor.
Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
So 3 things. Stewards that include nonprofits? And the tenants themselves? So you hear what's going on here, and it is the confiscation of private property. And in one instance he mentioned there, He's talking about a redistribution of private property to the tenants of that property. I literally got a chill up my spine when I heard this. And there's been not a whole lot reported on it. There is a woman I follow in New York City. She's a councilwoman named Vicky Palladino. She represents the 19th district in the city of New York in Queens. So we're trying to get a hold of her because I'm looking at what she wrote yesterday, and I think she gets it better than anybody else. And I think all of us who believe in the brilliance of private property rights in America should be very concerned about what's going on with this guy. Palladino wrote yesterday, let's understand a few things about what's actually going to happen here if he gets his way, which he almost certainly will unless the courts intervene. Well, who's going to file the suit in New York? They all agree. They elected him. He has someone in his staff named Sia Weaver. She is a woman who believes that private property is against the law. She thinks it's wrong for people to own property and then to lease it out to others. Sia Weaver and the Democratic Socialist organizers will be unleashed with the full institutional and legal support of the city government to ramp up tenant complaints in targeted buildings. So what they do, they pick out a building that they want to confiscate. They paper the building and get people to complain. No complaint will be too small. No building will be too small. Everything will be treated as catastrophic. This is, as Palladino states, full-scale demagoguery, complete with protests, rent strikes, street theater, harassment of property owners. They will demonize the people that own these properties. And accordingly, the city buildings department will then be weaponized to begin writing as many violations as possible in order to bolster the city's efforts to justify a seizure. And it won't matter how large or how small the violations are. The total number will be breathless. They are doing exactly the Cloward and Piven plan. They are overwhelming the system to bring it down. I added the Cloward and Piven because that's what it feels like. The combination of a weaponized buildings department writing hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines, rent strikes, threats, and harassment against the landlords by the militant activists will make the situation untenable for anyone who owns that property. They won't be able to fight back, and the city will seize it. The landlord will be lucky to walk away without going to prison or being beaten to death in the street by the angry mobs. Because let's not forget, Zoran's buddy Hassan Piker referred to landlords as by saying, let the streets run red with their capitalist blood. Yeah, that's what's going on in New York. But here's the weird part of it, and this is why I'm interested in Palladino, because she's gone beyond just the outrage over taking private property. She gets it. She understands 2 and 3 steps down the road what this means. Half of this plan is to confiscate these properties. And this is why everybody needs to pay attention, because the other half of this plan is really disturbing. And it does have national implications. We here in Philadelphia, we outside of New York, have to pay attention to this. I know we're all saying, hey, they elected him, he's their problem. Well, if he does this, this will affect you. The properties that will be confiscated by the city of New York will be turned over to nonprofits. Just think about that. Let's go through it. The idea here is to build up all of the nonprofits that are connected to the Democrat Socialist Party. They will then have a multi-billion-dollar portfolio of hard assets. New York City real estate. Think about it. The portfolio theoretically could reach into the hundreds of billions or even trillions, depending on how aggressive this gets. Now, these nonprofits, they're already highly political, and they become the new land barons in New York, complete with all the political clout, the leverage, the reach that goes along with it. It could be a nightmare. As it stands now, the nonprofits depend mostly on the largesse of grants and donations and third-party resources to stay afloat. But they're lavishly funded and hold significant assets, but it would pale in comparison to what happens if suddenly they are owners of real estate all over the city. And you think the Democrats, Socialists, and Mondami are not going to look at Trump properties first? Again, that's not in Palladino's statement. That's one of the dots I'm connecting. Mondami and his team, have resources at their disposal which would be gigantic in putting this together. And then the people that get the property have new resources that will be used on a national basis. Every Democrat Socialist candidate in every town, in every city in the country will be trained, funded, and staffed by organizers with ties to the New York City nonprofit empire backed by $1 trillion in free real estate. And they will leverage those resources for political power. That's the game plan here. That's the ball of wax. Mondami isn't interested in making housing better for anyone. That's not the case. It's never the case. Look at California's example. Look at Kensington. How much money have we thrown at Kensington? Has the problem been fixed? No. It's about power and about control. If Mondami was sincere, even a little bit, about seizing the properties from bad landlords for the public good, he'd be focused on turning them over to the city itself and let the city fix it, and then putting them up for sale. No, he's about giving them to his friends. This is about handing out political power. It's a big stinking deal. I know this is kind of crazy. It's kind of a crazy, wild extrapolation. But it's one of those things that I think we need to pay attention to. DeSantis, I know you're not exactly connected to New York City politics, but this one has to bother even you.
Yeah, it's horrifying. And on top of everything else, and it's something you touched on, it's going to discourage new housing construction because what developer or investor on earth is going to want to build an apartment complex or acquire an apartment complex in New York City if there's a chance that the mayor may just swoop in and take your property from you? This is a disaster on so many levels.
Well, and it just completely links up with everything else he's promised. He did promise free buses, and I don't know if you noticed it, but the free buses haven't happened. What has happened is he's now pivoted to say faster buses. We're not getting free buses in New York. We're getting faster buses. And nobody told me that on the YouTube channel that my screen went dark again. I guess I'm having technical problems today. I was all wound up about this Mondami thing. I am. I reached out to Vicky Palladino, and I gave her your number, Matt. So if
I'll keep an eye out.
If she does give us a holler, let us know. I do want to get into the Texas story and talk about what happened in that primary yesterday. President Trump picked the winner yesterday, and it wasn't just a close race. It was a butt whipping. But what does it mean for the future? Because the Cook Political Report, which used to have a lot of sway in the world of politics, the Cook Political Report now says that Senate seat, which Ken Paxton will be attempting to win over that weird guy Telefrico, or whatever his name is. That is his name, right? James Telefrico?
I think that's close, yeah.
I just call him Tiny, because doesn't he look like a little guy? He looks like a guy who just went shopping for his first grown-up suit. And I'm Telefrico. The guy thinks there's 6 genders and that Jesus is non-binary and all this stuff. And for the Cook, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, and he was caught messaging and following all of those questionable accounts on Instagram. There was like prostitute accounts, I believe. That was back in November.
Matthew, they're sex workers, aren't they?
Sorry. Well, some of them were beyond like OnlyFans. Like they were, like OnlyFans is not. I won't get into details. Sorry.
No, please.
Either way,
we'll
bizarre.
get into details during the break. We're going to talk about this.
Right.
But a couple weeks ago, we talked to Henry Olsen. He's got a great piece in the Washington Post today, and we'll break it down today, as well as we have to get into a couple of crazy local stories going on here. One involves the baby eagles. I'm not talking about a football team. I'm talking about some eaglets. Some eaglets that were born in Chester County, and they're very worried that this Downingtown Park will have to move the fireworks because the little eaglets need their sleep on the 4th of July. This is a fascinating story. And where's the funniest block in Philadelphia? Where is it? We got to get into that as well. You want to join us, you can. 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Do you think that banking is boring? At PNC, we know that meeting the banking needs of the community is anything but boring. That's why PNC Bank geared up this year and introduced the mobile branch across the region to bring banking services to underserved neighborhoods. And long before that, PNC Community Development Banking was leading the way in investing in the economic health of our neighborhoods. To see the brilliant results that boring banking can deliver for you, stop into any PNC branch right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills that never match what you thought you were paying? Cut the nonsense.
Right now at redpocket.com, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year.
And here's the kicker. Red Pocket Mobile gives you access to all 3 5G networks. You pick the one that works best where you live or work, or switch anytime for better coverage. And with Red Pocket, you keep your phone and your number. Why in the world would you not switch? Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Celebrate Memorial Day with big savings from Red Pocket Mobile. Right now, new and existing customers can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. Just $60 a year, and choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. That's redpocket.com. redpocket.com.
I'm Emma Greed, host of Aspire with Emma Greed, a podcast where I sit down with people who don't just dream big, they build big. From culture-shaping voices like Mel Robbins to leaders redefining success like Tracy Ellis Ross to game-changing entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban. Aspire is about mindset, ambition, and doing the work that actually moves the needle. If you're ready to raise your standards and take charge about the life and career you're building, Aspire is where you start. Follow and listen to Aspire with me, Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Red Pocket Mobile.
Elon Musk's proposed AI semiconductor plant in Austin, Texas could wind up costing as much as $119 billion. Bloomberg reports that Musk's SpaceX is proposing spending $55 billion on the initial construction phase of the so-called Terafab plant, which would make advanced chips for space-based computing and lower power chips for autonomous vehicles and humanoid robots. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Do you let other people order for you at a restaurant?
He'll have the saumon lyonnaise.
No, I won't. Or pick the movie you're going to see? She'd like a ticket to Attack on Rage Mountain.
Really?
Yeah, come on. So why would you let others make all the important decisions about how your life is going to be when you get older? I mean, is it okay with you if your kids decide where you're going to live? My kids? Are you ready?
Are you kidding?
Or perfect strangers choose who will be taking care of you?
Not gonna happen.
No, Better visit longtermcare.gov, the trusted information site that helps you find your own path forward without selling you anything. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Stay in charge by planning now or pay later.
How about a mohawk?
How about a mohawk? How about I put my foot right... Oh, hi, honey.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
Air conditioner, oh air conditioner, will you make it through the summer? If you don't, it'll be a bummer. Start your spring off right. We got huge rebates if that budget's tight. This is Jonathan Cans, and I am not a poet. I am, however, the third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. We are the mainline's oldest family-owned HVAC company, and we are not private equity-owned. But we are experts in rebates, big ones. And right now, there are up to $2,300 in rebates available. Contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
If there was ever a time to live united, it is now. Now is the time to speak with one voice, to build up, not tear down. It's time to join hands and live united against the problems that keep our communities from thriving. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you? Volunteer or donate now at unitedway.org.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It is 3:32 on this Wednesday. Mike Opelka back with you, and I am ebullient today. I love being here. It is one of my favorite radio stations in this entire country, and I do a lot of radio all around the country. This is my home. We're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of my meeting with Rich Zeoli at the Democratic National Convention here in Philadelphia. And Rich saying, we got to get you to sit in for me. And I went, okay, you don't have to twist my arm. And then Greg Stocker gave me some opportunities to sit in, and then the Saturday Night Experiment happened for a long, long time. And then I'm back to being America's guest host, which is a blast for me. I get to come home whenever the opportunity arises. And this week I'll be here today, tomorrow, and Friday, and God willing, as often as possible. I was in the YouTube chat room. If you're in there, give us a like and a subscribe, please. Love to hear from you. Although, Justin, I think we call ourselves Stunt Brainiacs. Not Stunt Brainiacs.
Brainiacs. Okay. Duly noted.
That's okay. I mean, I'm not mad at it. God knows you've got 17,000 things to do. So, what are you going to do? And you also picked out a great ABBA song to bring us back. The people on the YouTube channel didn't get to hear The Winner Takes It All, but it was very well done. We need to talk about yesterday and the president's latest victories when it comes to picking winners in primaries and picking winners in elections. And before we get to our guest, Henry Olsen, DeSantis, you pulled that clip of, was it Harry Enton, or was this somebody else had the Trump record of?
Oh, yeah, this is Fox News.
Okay, yeah, it was Fox News.
Yeah. It's cut number 9, Justin. This is Trump's record of 2026 endorsements.
Races and Senate races. This is his scorecard, okay? He has endorsed 8 governors. Now, some of these races weren't real close, didn't have a lot of competition, but some of them did. I mean, we saw what happened in Louisiana, the primary of Bill Cassidy. We saw what happened a week ago tonight with Tom Massey in Kentucky. And now we're seeing it again tonight, okay, in Texas. Governor level, Trump endorsed 8. He won 8 times. U.S. House, 101 endorsed. He won 101 endorsed in the House, and he won 101. Let me put on the pencil right here and show you this. U.S. Senate, Sean, he has endorsed 8 candidates. And prior to tonight, he had won 8 times. And now you can take the endorsement from 8 to 9 endorsed, and from 8 to 9 winner.
Huge.
Ken Paxton was outspent 9-1.
Just an amazing display of the power of the president when he gets his team behind him. Now, I've been quite open. I don't agree with all the vitriol against Thomas Massie. I find Thomas Massie to be a good guy. He disagreed with the president on a few things, but that's a topic for another day because we have our friend joining us again. It was a couple of weeks ago we talked with Henry Olsen, and we said, you know what, after the Texas primaries, probably nobody better to talk about what's going on with gerrymandering, et cetera, et cetera. Henry Olsen, Senior Fellow, Ethics and Public Policy Center, joining us. Henry, thanks for coming back. I hope you like ABBA.
I love ABBA. I mean, Dancing Queen is a memory from my youth.
Oh, yeah, mine too. It's a distant memory for me. So it's a long ago in a galaxy far, far away. Henry, were you surprised by the outcome, the massive win for the Texas Senate primary for the Attorney General? The guy. By the way, I know I'm all over the place today. I'm Mr. ADD today. Today is the anniversary of Ken Paxton being basically ramrodded by his own party. Nobody has mentioned that in any news coverages. 2023, the House in Texas impeached Paxton, and today he's the big winner in this election. But did it surprise you?
It did not surprise me if he won. If you had told me he won by 10, I would not have been surprised. If you told me he won by 15, I wouldn't have been surprised. 27? Yeah, I was surprised. I thought John Cornyn was showing more strength than that. And it's a high turnout. It's 1.4 million in the runoff, a little bit under that. That's a record for a Republican turnout in a statewide race. And so Cornyn got the high turnout he wanted, and he still got absolutely annihilated. Yeah, that surprised me.
Yeah, it was and I spent 13 and a half years in Texas, so this one, in terms of anger and vitriol and spending and two sides going at each other, will there be a kumbaya moment? Can the Paxton team get the Cornyn voters to support him, do you think?
I think most Cornyn voters will support him, both because most Cornyn voters are Republicans, and they always prefer Republicans to Democrats, and because the alternative, James Tallarico, is somebody who is just out there, on a host of cultural issues. He's made statements that can only be described as highly progressive, and people will vote for Paxton as the sleaze versus the heretic. And I think in Texas, more people would prefer somebody that they might think is a little personally sleazy, but is going to vote their way, to somebody who is heretical both politically and arguably theologically.
Yeah, I do find that fascinating that the Democrats would move forward with Tallarico on this. He just seems uncomfortable as a candidate, that he didn't. You go back and you see Beto O'Rourke at least had some skills in front of the camera, and it just feels like Tallarico is uncomfortable. It feels like he's a kid in his first high school speech class. Or is that me projecting because he just looks kind of slight and nerdy?
Well, he certainly looks white and nerdy. Weird Al just started his tour. He certainly looks much younger than he is. He's I shouldn't say supposedly. He's 37 years old, and he certainly looks to be at or under 30. He has an earnestness that I think plays with Democrats, but I'm not convinced is going to play with the median voter, who's going to be 50 years old and somewhat conservative. But, look, this is not shaping up to be a good year for Republicans, and if it continues to be looking this way in the fall, who knows what can happen. A lot of times people are voting party these days rather than personality or a candidate, and if people have a sour taste in their mouth about Republicans, they might be willing to overlook things about Tallarico.
It does seem to be that. We're talking with Henry Olson, Senior Fellow, Ethics and Public Policy Centers, joining us to talk about this great piece in the Washington Post today, talking about margin of victory. And as we talk about the Texas primaries, I want to dive into your piece, but I also want to ask you, are you surprised that Al Green and his cane lost their primary in Texas yesterday?
No, I'm not, because Christian Menifee had won a hotly contested race that comprised most of the district for the old 18th district that was vacated after Sylvester Turner passed away in an untimely way. And he had already shown that he was strong in the dominant part of the district in the first round. So, again, I'm surprised by the margin. I didn't expect he would beat Al Green by 30-something points, but I'm not surprised Al Green lost. You know, somebody was basically redistricted out of his seat, and Democrats would prefer to have somebody who is younger and perhaps can rise in their ranks.
That is the question. What is happening with the Democrat Party? And we're starting to see a little bit of a trend happening in some of the big cities with the Democrat socialists getting entrenched and having a little more power than they did the last cycle. I don't see Texas as being a state that will give up any real turf to Democratic socialists. Are you seeing any of that in your analysis, Henry?
You know, there was not really a hard Democratic Socialist versus establishment lineup in the Democratic races yesterday, except even the Democratic Socialists didn't touch Maureen Galindo, the anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist sex therapist who was running for a arguably competitive seat. She got trounced by the establishment choice. Lots of other races, though. You have very strong DSA or squad-endorsed candidates running against establishment candidates, and there's about 5 or 6 of them coming up next week in a number of states, particularly New Jersey and California. And it'll be very telling to see whether or not they continue to break through, because they can win 2 out of 6, and that's still 2 more than they had, because the squad and the strong DSA-supported left has been underrepresented in congressional delegations. Any victory is an advance for them, and if they win a majority of those, then that's really going to be telling where the Democratic energy is, that it's even farther on the left than a lot of Democrats want to admit.
And if they do win 3 out of the 6, that's kind of running contrary to what President Trump said today during the cabinet meeting, where he thought things were going in a good direction for the midterms. Although he did say he doesn't really care about the midterms. He's looking at other issues.
I think to be fair, I think he answered that question in the context of the Iran negotiations.
Yes.
And, what he's trying to say is not, I don't care about the midterms, which is, of course, what he said, but not in the context. It's, I'm putting the country first. I'm not going to make a political deal. I'm going to make a deal that I think is in the best interest of the country, not the one that will get me out and help me in the polls. But, look, the midterms are not going well for the Republicans right now. It's quite clear that the president's job approval continues to decline to new lows in his second term. It's clear that there are people who, in the middle, the swing voters who decide elections, even in this polarized age, would prefer him focusing more on the economy, and they would like to see an economy that's growing faster and an inflation that's dropping. So it's not a good year right now, and the president is incorrect if he wants to suggest otherwise. But 4 years ago, Biden's midterm, if you had said to me in May what was going to happen, I'd say, gee, it's looking really bad for them. And he brought it back so that it was one of the better midterms for a president, particularly given how unpopular Biden was. So there's no reason to think that the president can't bring it back. It just the numbers aren't there right now to support a positive outlook for Republicans.
I get that. And we certainly would see it would be a big surprise if the president could pull this off, but he's had big surprises in the past. That gives me a great transition, Henry, also to the story you wrote today that addresses some of the issue of gerrymandering congressional districts, what's been going on around the country. Is there going to be any, real clarity ahead of the midterms? Because we certainly had an interesting development in Alabama yesterday, and we've had states going back and forth fighting over the redistricting. Do you think the Republicans are going to end up on the winning side of this based on what you're seeing? And where are you on gerrymandering?
On the analytical side, it's clear the Republicans have now won the redistricting war. That there are no more states that Democrats control that can redraw their lines for 2026, and there are still a couple of states that can redraw their lines for Republicans. They'll pick up anywhere from 6 to 10 seats over what they would have had but for this mid-decadal redistricting. So it's clear that they've won. They've also built a firewall so that Democrats, if things do get better for the Republicans in the present, Democrats would have to win the popular vote in the House by about 4% just to get a bare majority. It's so tilted towards the Republicans. So in the short term, yes, Republicans have done better. Of course, by 2028, Democrats in their states may be able to redraw more lines, and then that advantage gets buried or gets wiped out and we go back. But what it would be is that almost every seat in the country would have been predetermined. And that's the thing is I don't think gerrymandering is good for democracy. If 95% of your seats were leaning in one direction or strongly in one direction for a party, that basically means only a few isolated seats determine the control. It locks in a 50-50 country. And I don't think that's good for democracy. I think when people vote, they should expect that if they decide they've changed their mind, that as far as which party they support, they should expect some sort of change in power. That's what happens at the Senate level, where you can't gerrymander states. What happens at the presidential level, again, you can't gerrymander the Electoral College. But at the House, where you can, it's really problematic, and I don't think it's good for democracy. I think we should find a way to get rid of gerrymandering.
I'm with you on this because it seems like whoever has the upper hand in terms of just general power, even if it's one little teeny tiny bit of upper hand, abuses that power. So in your piece in the Washington Post today, which titled Margin of Victory, we go into the gerrymandering question. Who around the world does it the best? I know you're talking about Switzerland's election system. Mm-hmm. You bring up Finland. We talk about Israel and the approach that was used by the Likud party there. Who do you think is doing this better than we are?
Yeah, I think everybody, literally everybody, is doing it better than we are.
Really?
I think. Because there's no other country that has this degree of gerrymandering. Most countries have some sort of proportional representation system, which ensures that the votes and the seats line up. Countries that have a single-member district system, like Canada, like the United Kingdom, like France, like Australia, they all have their lines drawn by commissions, and the lines are drawn pretty much in a nonpartisan way that equalizes the number of voters in a district and ensures that real changes in voter opinion result in real changes in power. I don't think there's a single country in the world that I'm aware of that does it worse than we do, either because they have proportional representation or because they have genuinely nonpartisan, non-politician-controlled ways to draw their single-member districts.
I just don't know if we, as an American political system, will ever agree to change. I don't see either side going, the system's really screwed up. We need to do it like Finland does, or we need to do it like Switzerland does it. I don't think you're going to see either party say, yeah, that's a better idea, even though they know that this is not the perfect system.
Yeah, I think it's a very hard thing to do. I mean, change is hard, and both sides think that they can continue to wield absolute power. But at some point, you have to take a look and say, each of us runs the risk of complete annihilation. Which is say that if Democrats really do have a really good election and they get power in all these states, they can gerrymander Republicans out of existence, both at the state level and at the federal level. And as I wrote in Margin of Victory, which is a free newsletter that you can get online from the Washington Post, that our founders compromised to create the Constitution. And when you take a look, if I were a Republican and I were a Democrat, I would say, right now we're kind of at the nuclear brinksmanship, 2 minutes to noon. Either of us can wipe each other out. Why don't we compromise and make sure that we're working in the public interest and also avoid complete annihilation so that each side has a chance to win. I don't think it'll happen soon, but it's the logical idea that I think will happen sometime in my lifetime, hopefully sooner rather than later.
It seems to be like that would require a certain level of maturity that we haven't seen in either chamber for quite some time. A certain amount of political collegiality between the parties to say, hey, this isn't fair, but we're willing to compromise. And that's the word you used in that last explanation, I think is most desired in D.C., and we're not seeing it from anybody. It is as the ABBA song gave us, the winner takes it all. And I think that's a mistake. Personally, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I think Americans who aren't in the hard partisan camp agree. I think what we're seeing in voter registration trends is people rejecting both parties and saying I'm independent. It doesn't mean they don't have preferences in the existing system, but they'd like something new. And one of the things they would like is maturity. They don't see it as a war of all against all or winner takes all. And I think if you had somebody who was mature and able to project that, they would both find strong popular support for it, and I think they would actually maybe have the authority to tame their base. But right now, we don't have leaders on either side that are willing to take that risk. Maturity and compromise takes some risk to get out in that way, and as long as you don't see that, you'll continue to see what you've got. But where it's leading us is that our votes in the House of Representatives just won't matter because the politicians will have drawn the lines, and as long as we have the same two parties, we'll keep sending the same representatives in predetermined numbers that the map makers drew for us. And maybe the existence of that, maybe the experience of that will cause some people to wake up and say, hey, wait a minute, there's something higher than ourselves at stake here. We can't have a democracy if the votes don't matter.
Well, that would rely on the general public having an awakening that there's something beyond ourselves to begin with. And I think we got to get to that point before we then look at the government and go, hey, we got to fix this too, because it's not doing the right thing. Henry Olsen, I will post a link to the free piece that you've written on my social media accounts. I think it's a great piece for people to read and appreciate your knowledge on this, sir. And let's hope that the compromise bug hits D.C. before the total meltdown happens.
I hope so, too. And thank you very much for spreading the peace.
Thank you. Appreciate it. There he goes. Henry Olsen, really interesting cat. And I think this is an important discussion. I'm all for a blowout victory for my team, but I also understand that it becomes boring after a while. And you also need to understand that the people who lose in elections are neighbors and citizens, and they are part of the same country too, and we need to find a way to include them into the future, into the next steps. So while I appreciate the ability to have as big of a victory for my team as possible, I also understand that we're not always going to be in power, and when that power shifts back to the other side, especially in the case of many of the Democrats, they're going to abuse it. We may abuse it a little bit. They're going to abuse it a lot, and you can bet on that. I got to take a break here, don't I, Henry? I know Matthew. I'm way over, aren't I?
Yeah, you. No, you're okay. If we break now, we're fine.
Okay, Matt, do you have your summer reading list put together yet?
I actually just finished a book. I rarely read nonfiction, but I made an exception. I read a book I guess I started it a couple days ago, and I couldn't put it down. It was quite good. I can give you the recommendation if you'd like.
I read Green Eggs and Ham, and I don't think that's nonfiction. I think that's I think I would love to get yours, because I just finished God Sad's book. I don't know if you've picked it up, Suicidal Empathy.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, his new book is just, I felt the same way. But we should do our summer reading list. Anybody's got a summer reading suggestion? And I have Jack Carr's book queued up. That's next, which his latest book, which just, it's like reading an action film. Everything's going off in your head when you're reading a Jack Carr book. So that's up there. But I know it's going to go by so quickly, so I got to get some of my summer reading tips up. You guys can put them in the YouTube channel as well. We appreciate it. Or 855-839-1210. It's Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000. Use code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd to the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Is life insurance still on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40 and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Now we're moving into summer, and it's time we find out how brutal the winter weather was to our home. Hey, it's Rich Izzioli. If you're looking for a contractor that can help you with repairs during this time, or maybe you want to get a jump in those renovations, go with my guys, Emmons. They deliver protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons has always been my go-to contractor for over 10 years in 2 different homes and they even just remodeled our kids' bathroom. Plus, you're going to get American-made products, American-made roofing products to lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, siding that elevates and insulates your home, and made in America, windows and doors that blend style and performance, made in America. Emmons has you covered every step of the way. So go to emmonsroofing.com, upgrade your home with confidence, make sure you tell them I sent you, and always go with the company that I go with because I trust them and they've delivered for me each and every time in 2 different homes. That's Emmons Roofing, emmonsroofing.com.
If clutter is costing you time, fix it right away. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, and home offices. Schedule a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. Closetfactory.com.
Debt. We can all get in a bit too deep. Members of the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, can help you put debt in its place.
Credit cards took charge of my financial life. An NFCC credit counselor helped me get back in control. I took charge of my debt.
Student loan debt followed me wherever I went. My NFCC financial advocate taught me all I needed to know. I mastered my student loan debt.
We wanted to buy our first home, but weren't sure if we were mortgage ready. Our NFCC housing counselor helped us make a plan. We're on a path to our first home.
NFCC member agencies serve all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Convenient, helpful, knowledgeable, nonprofit. Financial advocates there for you.
We put debt in its place.
Be one of 5 million people to beat debt by 2020. Connect with an NFCC certified credit counselor at your local member agency today. Go to nfcc.org/stopdebt or call 877-410-6322.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Turn it up, crank that down. Mike Opelka is back to make you smile. He's the voice that cuts right through. Back on 1210, Opelka's here for you. The truth has no agenda, and neither does he. So kick back and enjoy the show on WPHT.
It is 4:02 on this humid Wednesday. Mike Opelka with you. Glad to be here, and I'll be here, God willing, today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then we'll see what happens after that. Busy day, very busy day. We wrapped up last hour with DeSantis and I talking about some of our suggestions for summer reading list. I just finished Gad Saad's latest book, Suicidal Empathy. It's a bestseller, and I want to make sure I have enough books lined up for the summer because I am planning on spending some time trying to do a little. My wife reads a book a day. And if I get a book a week, I'm doing pretty good. But she reads a book a day and not audiobook. She's physically got the book in her hand and is reading it. So I'm trying to keep up with somebody who's really just a killer reader. But I have to be interested in it. And Suicidal Empathy by Gad Saad is, I think, an astounding book. Now, it gets a little heady. There's a whole lot of SAT words in this book, but it does make sense. And you understand some of the things that we have been subjected to over the past couple of years, maybe the past decade plus, where the left has just said, you know, it's feelings that matter more than facts, have led us to some of the places where we are, that put us in some of the places where men pretending to be women were given jobs they shouldn't have had, allowed to compete in sports they had no business competing in. Every time I see Robert Kennedy and Dr. Oz, and then I realize we had a guy pretending to be a woman who was one of the highest ranking people in the government. Yeah, I'm talking about Dr. Levine. That was embarrassing. That happened. we can't wash that away. And that was part of Suicidal Empathy. It's a great book. And DeSantis, what was the name of the book that you just finished and you were suggesting?
So there are two. I got lucky. I knocked out two books, and they were both excellent. If you want, excuse me, if you want nonfiction, I highly recommend. It's an older book, but it's good. If you like philosophy, Justice by Michael Sandel. He breaks down different philosophical theories like utilitarianism, libertarianism, Kantian ethics, which is like deontological ethics. Aristotle is referenced in there. Anyway, usually when you read those older philosophers, the prose is terrible and it's really difficult to get through, but Sandel is amazing and he breaks it down and makes it super simplistic so everybody can understand what's happening. And then fiction, I read Daniel Krause's book Angel Down. I just finished that last night. That just won the Pulitzer Prize. It's really good. It takes place during World War I, and it follows 5 soldiers that have been assigned to enter no man's land, which is the area between the U.S. trenches and the German trenches in France. And their mission is to identify where these horrible screams are coming from, and what they expect to do is to basically put this injured soldier out of his misery whenever they come across him. But what they end up discovering is that the thing making these horrible noises is a fallen angel, which has been knocked out of the sky by modern artillery.
Wow.
The ending is a little bit weak, but I would still give the book an A. It's very good.
Wow, that's a great story. Is anyone movieizing that one in the near future? Do you know? Have you optioned it yourself?
I would say that if you're an executive at Netflix and you have not contacted Daniel Krause, you should do that immediately because it would make for an amazing miniseries. I think a movie it might be a little messy, but it screams award-winning miniseries to me. HBO Max and Netflix, they should be fighting over it as we speak.
Wow. That's high praise. I'll look into that. I said I have Gad Sad's book. I do have a new book from Jim Stovall, who I think we're going to hear from either tomorrow or Friday. Our friend Jim Stovall has now his 66th book is out, and it's called My Travels with it's a spoof on My Travels with Charlie. Do you remember the book My Travels with Charlie? It's not a spoof. It's kind of a follow-up to that book. So we'll see what happens if we get Jim on to talk about his new book. And I do have, as well as James Rosen has a new book out on Antonin Scalia that I'm dying to get my hands on, but that's a monster. And Rosen's a great writer. So he will be on my table as well. So we'll see with that. But the interesting thing is a lot of you in the YouTube chat room were coming up with some book titles, and I'm trying to figure out who said it, that they were talking about what Greg Stocker's book would be. And it was 50 Shades of Greg, which I thought that's pretty good. So I said, let's see what the book titles would be for the morning show. So what would they be? And Newman Price, I think, or no, 91 XLRs gave credit to Newman Price, 50 Shades of Greg. I don't know. Now, I guess it was 91 XLRS said that. Nick's would be Scarlet's Web. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Someone's going to have to explain that to me. Newman said Nick's book would be $4,000 golf clubs for dummies. Ouch, Nick. Ouch. Sue said stalkers would be get off my YouTube. That's pretty good. I like it. And Sue also said Dawn's book would be Trump is my hero. Very good. Sue is brutal. Although Road Warrior, I like Road Warrior's book, Dawn-splain for Dummies, which is like Dawn explaining things. Dawn breaks stuff down very well. I think she puts together an argument very well. So we will see. There are a whole bunch of names in here that I can't talk about, but you guys are good. Although Dottie said Nick's golf club adventure should be entitled How to Spend $4,000 Without Your Wife Knowing. Very good. Yeah, Nick, for those of you that don't know, Nick has the same addiction that I have, other than Nick's gambling addiction. And alleged drinking addiction. I don't know if that's real or not. I've only heard that from Zeoli. But his golf addiction led him to purchase $4,000 worth of golf clubs. And that's a lot of money to spend on golf clubs if it's not your job. I'm just saying. But maybe it's going to become his job. I don't know. We will see. But if you have another idea for the books for the morning show, or even a book for me, I don't care. And yeah, Chris in South Carolina said Stalker's book title, Eat Me, Not a Cookbook. I think that's right, because Greg yells that a lot, I think. Very good. So I love how engaged you guys are. I love how engaged you guys are. Matt, before we came to the studio today, I said, have you guys talked at all about the Ebola virus in the past week? So nobody?
Not at all, no. I know Marco Rubio mentioned it today, and it was after you asked me whether or not we touched on Ebola. So I did grab our Secretary of State mentioning it, but you and him may be the first two people that have referenced it in probably a week and a half, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
So Rubio's at least thinking about it. He's aware of it because CBS News yesterday reported at least 220 people have died from the Ebola outbreak, and that's just in one little section of the world. In the Uganda health authorities are saying, "Hey, we got a couple of problems here. They've got more than 900 cases, and Ebola in the first round of infections is about 80% lethal, fatal if you get it, and it happens pretty quickly." And do you know how it happens? I hope no one's eating their afternoon tea and crumpets right now. Do you know?
I don't know. I'm curious. No.
See, I'm fascinated with hemorrhagic viruses and viruses in general. The original book on the outbreak was The Hot Zone, and you should read it because it really is fascinating. It's a true story too. The Ebola virus, when it's a single-stranded virus, so it's very simple. It gets into your system, and it just starts basically liquefying your organs inside you. And you end up bleeding out. And you're a walking zombie. And it happens pretty quickly, like within days. It's really nasty. But once it's used up all the energy it can from you, it has to jump to another host. It has to find another person. That's why they say in these countries when people die, they usually wash the body. And they're telling people, no, don't do that, because when you wash the body, you're coming in contact with the blood, and that's where the virus goes. Deep, I'm coming. I got a new host. We're gonna make this guy's insides jelly too. So that's the problem. But it is really nasty. So I'm thinking we should be worried about it. And Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, the guy who has like 19 other jobs, he brought it up in the cabinet meeting today.
Correct. This is cut number 4. This is Rubio in the cabinet meeting.
Okay.
Something else that I know is concerning people, because it's on the news, is Ebola. Our number one obligation, we're involved in foreign policy, but even our foreign policy, the number one priority of our foreign policy is to protect the American people. We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States. And so the State Department and other agencies represented here, the Centers for Disease Control, HHS, others, are working very, very hard to contain this crisis to the countries where it's currently located, particularly the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so we've surged assistance to make sure that is being contained there. And obviously, multiple agencies involved here are also very involved in tracking people, just to make sure that nobody comes into this country that has Ebola and creates a problem for us. And we feel like we've got good efforts in place to do that, and Americans should feel assured that the President and his administration is doing everything we can to protect them on that front.
See, I'm all okay with the President going, okay, nobody from the Democratic Republic of the Congo is coming here, and nobody from Uganda is coming here. And then the mayor of New York, whose family's from Uganda, would be screaming, racist, racist, racist. But I'm okay with that. A virus that basically liquefies you from the inside out, I really don't think we need to welcome it here. Remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago when we had the hantavirus? And we sent those people, we sent them to Nebraska, and they were sequestered on that Nebraska military facility for well, I guess they're all probably still there or should be getting out soon. Do you know what that facility was originally set up for? Ebola.
Was it Ebola? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
2013 when we had the Ebola outbreak that killed a whole bunch of people. And this thing kind of goes away and sleeps in a cave for 10 years and then it comes back. So here we are again. So I started thinking, in order to get the word out, because nobody's talking about it, we need an ad campaign, right? We need kind of a song or something. So I did a couple of Ebola songs. I'd like your opinion on them. They're short because you know me. I like short little songs. I would offer these to the government to use as sort of public service announcements. So let's go through them one at a time and see what you think. This is one of the first a little Ebola PSA song.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
Now I started with kids, right? Because who doesn't like cute little kids singing about Ebola? But not, my wife goes, what if someone's name is Ebola? They're going to say you're being mean to them. So do you think I'm being mean to, if there is somebody, do you know anyone named Ebola, DeSantis?
That'd be a very unfortunate name. Thankfully, I don't know anyone named Ebola. Or if they are named Ebola, if it is on their birth certificate, it's not a name they go by publicly.
Yeah, I would love to know somebody who's got the name Ebola. But let's see where this goes with, because I told my wife, but the kids are so cute.
First comes fever, hot and high. It's just a bug, the people cry. Then the aches begin to shout, and the strong are worn right out. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Whispered rumors, fear runs wild. Fever takes the weak and mild, and the strong one's organs liquefy. Blood where blood should not run dry. Liquefying organs, children scream like a nightmare nursery dream, bleeding out and fading slow. That's the road you don't want to go. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Clap your hands and count to 10. Hope we never meet again. Wash up well and don't deny. Some bad fevers don't pass by. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
So you got to have the pan flute in there, right? It kind of softens it.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
So that's number one. What do you think of number one? Will it get the message out and keep people calm?
You know, it's very cheery. It was upbeat. It makes me wonder if there might be a few less intelligent people out there that try to contract Ebola because it sounds fun.
That's a really good point, DeSantis.
It could
Thank
be
you.
dangerous, yeah.
So let's pivot to number two, and I think maybe there's a little something here. I was trying to go for either a Rihanna or kind of a Beyonce feel to it, you know, but still the kid attraction thing, kind of thing.
If you feel fever rise or your body aches and cries, do not wait, do not roam. Tell a grown-up, stay at home. Ebola, Ebola, keep your hands away. Ebola, Ebola, call for help today. Ebola, Ebola, listen, this is real. Get care fast, that's how people heal. Blood or vomit, sudden pain can mean danger in your vein. Wash your hands and keep apart. Protect your friends, protect your heart.
So blood and vomit, you know, it's not what you hear in a kid's song all the time, is it?
It sounds like something I'd hear on a Disneyland ride. Like it's a small world after all.
See, when everyone has a story of being trapped on It's a Small World After All, I think that they do that every other a group of carts that go through that ride. They stop them for 30 minutes and torture them with the song. But eventually you start hearing things like this, blood and vomit all around. That's kind of a thing. So the kids think
catchy.
It is kind of catchy, and it has that Dora the Explorer tone to it, does it not?
I like them both.
Okay, well, maybe it's the poppy one. Maybe it's the Rihanna/Beyonce hybrid that makes it work here.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. First comes fever, hot and high, just a bug, the people cry. Then the aches begin to shout, and the strong grow worn right out. Whisper rumors, fear runs wild. Fever takes the weak and mild. In the strong one's organs liquefy, but where blood should not run dry. Liquefying organs, children scream like a nightmare nursery dream. Bleeding out and fading slow, that's the road you don't wanna go. Clap your hands and count to 10. Hope we never meet again. Wash up well and don't deny. Some bad fevers don't pass by. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
So I think the clapping kind of makes that one, don't you?
Everyone's talking about what is the song of the summer. What's it going to be for 2026? I think you may have found it, Mike.
I don't know if I could ever surpass Despacito from about 10 years ago, but maybe I think I got Justin to laugh on that one. You think we might have something here with our little books? Because listen, Uganda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo closed their borders today because they're worried about Ebola crossing the borders. So I think, and Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization is trying to make this a big deal because there's money behind it if we all pour money into the World Health Organization. And let's face it, hemorrhagic fevers, if you pick up the Hot Zone this afternoon and start reading that book, you will not sleep tonight because you will want to finish it, make sure everybody gets out okay. But the reality is these are very simple creatures, possibly the simplest creatures on the planet, these single-stranded viruses. And they kind of go asleep for a while, and now they're back. So Ebola's back.
The infection rate is a lot higher than I would have expected because I know last month people were, maybe even earlier this month, the news cycle moved so quickly, but people were talking about hantavirus and the infection rate was something like 0.4 or something. It just wasn't going to spread, at least not rapidly enough to become a pandemic. The infection rate for Ebola is 1.5 to 2. So for every one person that is typically infected, they'll infect another person or two people on average, which is alarmingly high. Originally, COVID-19 was 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Now, Omicron, I think, ended up going to 8. But still, that's more infectious than I would have expected, especially for a disease or a virus that deadly.
The infection level combined with the lethality in the first, and it does jump from person to person, as you said, with the infection rate pretty quickly, and then the lethal nature of it diminishes the next time. So if the virus hits patient 1 and then destroys that guy or woman, and that jumps to the next person, the lethality almost is cut in half, but it's still pretty deadly. That's the crazy part. Really crazy. So what do the people think? Is there one clear winner on this? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Is it the hybrid of Beyonce and Rihanna?
Yeah, I think my vote goes for number 3.
Number 3 is looking like the clear.
I love that song.
Well, the only thing we could do is play it again.
Ebola, Ebola,
clap along.
I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
Clap along. I love the fact that my buddy Newman Price is walking through the Acme in Jenkintown playing it at full volume. God bless you, Newman. He had a preview of it. I love to bounce my stuff off another compadre in this world, so I gave Newman a little preview this morning after I was playing around with this stuff. Thank you all for sharing, and thank you for letting me distract you from the news of the day with the discussion of the Ebola virus. But Matt, we don't have a case here in America yet, do we?
No, I think there were Americans that were exposed to it, but it was all overseas.
Last week there was a story of one American doctor, and usually these are the angels who go to these regions to provide care for people where there isn't a medical system in place, and they're usually part of a faith group, and the doctor did contract the Ebola virus. He was given some of the treatments because we have made some advancements, but if you're not around a real medical establishment, there's a good chance you're going to have a very tough road ahead of you facing Ebola. And I think that guy had kind of leveled out. That doctor had been saved, hopefully. All right, I'm stepping aside, taking a break. You want to join us, you can. We might have some more fun with this Ebola topic just around the corner. 855-839-1210. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Looking to elevate your home with timeless beauty? At Suburban Marble and Granite, a proud veteran-owned business, craftsmanship meets premium quality. They source only the finest imported stone from around the world, perfect for kitchens, bathrooms, slab walls, outdoor spaces, and custom projects that truly stand out. From design to installation, their team delivers A-plus service and stunning results every step of the way. Suburban Marble and Granite, endless possibilities, spectacular results. Visit suburbanmarble.com to get started today.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their Teeth in a Day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit PIDentalCenter.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Elon Musk's proposed AI semiconductor plant in Austin, Texas could wind up costing as much as $119 billion. Bloomberg reports that Musk's SpaceX is proposing spending $55 billion on the initial construction phase of the so-called Terafab plant, which would make advanced chips for space-based computing and lower power chips for autonomous vehicles and humanoid robots. I'm Jason Brooks.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. Ever sign up for one of those too-good-to-be-true phone deals? 1 minute you're feeling great, then suddenly you're paying over $1,000 a year. Crazy, right? You know who else thinks that's crazy? Red Pocket Mobile.
Right now at Red Pocket, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year. And choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. Redpocket.com.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes and get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Living here is about more than just the headlines. It's the new restaurant opening in Fishtown. It's the playoff energy at the bank. It's the festivals that make your neighborhood feel like home.
KYW News Radio brings you the pulse of the Delaware Valley. From service journalism that solves problems to stories that celebrate our culture, we cover the life you're actually living.
Authentic, local, factual. KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news source.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing, I want a reward for dominating. Like Daily Prize Matcher on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It is 4:32 on this Wednesday. Mike Opelka with you, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Yeah, we're going to get through some of the audio from the president's big cabinet meeting. Cabinet meeting was supposed to happen at Camp David, but we were told it was moved to the White House because of weather. Now, this is kind of interesting. Because yesterday, the big story was, hey, we're going to have a big cabinet meeting on what's going on with Iran, and we will talk about everything the president's got going on. And then there was the 3-hour physical and dental checkup for President Trump at Walter Reed Medical Center yesterday. It was kind of interesting to see that happening. And the left side of the mainstream media immediately leapt upon this opportunity to question the president's fitness. And by fitness, I'm not talking about fitness pizza into his mouth. I'm talking about fitness to serve, because that's kind of the way the left is focused on President Trump when they avoided that topic with Joe Biden for the entire term that Biden was in office, despite the fact that Biden wasn't holding press conferences the way the president was, that there weren't cabinet meetings. But no, it's all about the president's health. And we did hear, I guess it's been now a couple of months since Barry Weiss has taken over control of CBS News. We heard that there was going to be a return to real reporting and fairness, etc., etc. And yesterday, when the president went to get the medical checkup, the networks were pretty good. We expected ABC to jump on it, which they did, but I was surprised a little bit when CBS jumped on it.
We turn now to President Trump's medical checkup today. Now, most Americans over 65 are managing chronic health conditions, at least one or two, that according to the National Council on Aging. But the president said today his health checked out perfectly.
So the president did post on Truth Social that everything checked out perfectly. Are you surprised? I mean, he's always said he's in the best health. And, you know, we look at his diet, we don't see as many Diet Cokes around the president as we did in the first term. And we certainly know Robert Kennedy is having a little bit of effect, and maybe his wife having a little bit of effect on what he eats. But President Trump has been this way forever. I don't think we should expect him to change. But the way the left jumped on this report yesterday.
Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us with details. Nancy, good evening to you.
Tony, good evening. The White House is billing this as a routine annual dental and medical evaluation, though it's actually his third medical exam in the past year. All told, the president spent about 3.5 hours at Walter Reed Medical Center today. White House officials telling us we should get a readout from the president's doctor within the next day or so. Although, as you mentioned, Trump delivered his own report right after the visit, which he called a 6-month physical. He said, Tony, everything checked out perfectly.
So, Nancy, what do we know about the president's health as he prepares to celebrate 80 years on the planet?
So they're teeing this up because June 14th, Flag Day, the president's birthday, 80th birthday, and also I think that isn't that, Matt, you can tell me, that's the day of the UFC fight at the White House too, is it not? I think it is.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, so it's a big day, but they're looking for some kind of problem in President Trump's health when they avoided even questioning Joe Biden.
Well, he was treated last year for chronic venous insufficiency, a fairly common condition for people his age. It can cause some swelling. He's also often seen with some bruising on his hands, which the White House has said is due to aspirin use combined with frequent handshaking. Otherwise, his doctor has said that his cardiovascular and neurological health are good, Tony.
Yeah. So, but CBS News is going to follow this. ABC News has followed it. They're bringing up questions of whether or not Donald Trump is falling asleep in public now. And then yesterday we saw a lot of people posting pictures of media representatives, every CNN reporter, anchor who appeared on camera. The second they closed their eyes, there was a screen capture and someone said, Dana Bash fell asleep. Jake Tapper fell asleep. Brian Stelter fell asleep. Yes, because that's what they're doing with Trump. But he never smoked. He never drank. He did play a lot of golf. He has been living beyond his expected, I guess, what do we call him? Your life expectancy. He's lived past his life expectancy, but I also think it's his purpose-driven life that has gotten President Trump this far. If you have something to do, someone to love, and some place to be, you will live longer. But keep your eyes up because the left is going to make President Trump's age an issue going forward. They don't seem to realize he's got 2.5 good years left. And I always want to ask him, if you really don't think this is the real thing here, if you don't think this is the right guy to be in office, do you want J.D. Vance? Do you want J.D. Vance jumping in there? I think they better think twice about it. The other story that caught my eye yesterday, and DeSantis, I know you pulled a clip for me about this Maine Senate hopeful, the guy Graham Plattner, the guy who said he forgot he had a Nazi tattoo or didn't know he had a Nazi tattoo on his chest that he got years ago, and he's had all kinds of stories about it. He's now linking up with Bernie Sanders, and the two of them are making appearances together. And you pulled, I think it's clip 17, Justin, if we can run that, of Bernie Sanders with Plattner over the weekend.
And it would restore health care to the 15 million Americans who are losing it because of Trump's quote-unquote big, beautiful bill. We can do all of that and more by a 5% annual tax on the wealth of billionaires. Now, my opponents, of which there are many, claim that this legislation is punitive and confiscative. Oh, we're just picking on these poor billionaires. I mean, my God, how cruel can you be? But I want you to hear this. This just shows you how crazy the economy is today. If that bill were in effect this year, Elon Musk would pay $39 billion more in taxes. But here's the punchline. This confiscatory, terrible, drastic, radical piece of legislation would leave Musk with just $737 billion left to survive. Now, I know you're worried about him, but what do you think? Think he can make it on $737 billion? Yeah, maybe.
The interesting thing that Sanders is doing here, when Bernie Sanders and his Democrat Socialists talk about the 5% annual wealth tax on people they consider to be rich. In this case, he mentioned billionaires. Bernie Sanders used to say millionaires and billionaires until he became a millionaire, and then he suddenly dropped the demonization of millionaires from his rhetoric. But the curious thing about this is a 5% annual wealth tax. Now, wealth tax is not an income tax. A wealth tax is what the government considers to be confiscation of what you have. That if they consider you have too much money and too much value, you might have a $2 million home and you might have a $2 million 401k plan. And if they think that's too much and they want to charge you a 5% tax on that, they're going to ask you for $200,000 in an annual wealth tax, which means you're going to have to shrink either your 401k by withdrawing it, or you're going to have to sell your house. And that is the ultimate plan. That's what they're up to. And a lot of people aren't even talking about that. But Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, AOC, all the members of the socialist wing of the Democrat Party would like to go in and charge you for what your net worth is in their opinion. And if you own a home but don't sell that home, you own the home. It's your house. But it's not a pile of cash. It's a pile of potential. And it's the same thing with Elon Musk's wealth. When you talk about Elon Musk's net worth, it's in the shares of stock he owns. He doesn't have piles and piles, billions and billions of dollars of money sitting around. It's all potential wealth that only gets taxed on when you actually cash in your chips. But that's what they're all about. The other part of this is when Bernie Sanders is on his No Oligarchs tour with Plattner, this guy that's what did Jesse Waters call him? The nipple Nazi? I think that's the term. Is that the correct term, DeSantis?
I don't know if it's the correct term, but it's my new favorite.
Yeah, well, hey, Graham Plattner has a tattoo on his chest, and it is a Nazi symbol. And so Jesse Waters, one of the few things that actually made me laugh out loud is when he declared him the nipple Nazi. And I think he's right on that. But Plattner has the endorsement of virtually every Democrat, elected Democrat. There's only been one or two who have come up and said, hey, we don't like the idea that this guy has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. And he has insulted wounded veterans in the past. And they even have the video. And I'm hearing there's going to be a whole lot more. But I don't think Plattner even knows who he's hanging out with when he's campaigning with Bernie Sanders. Listen.
So the last time, well, before last night, I shared a stage with Senator Sanders.
Wait a minute. Senator who? Mr. Nipple Nazi?
Stage with Senator Sanders.
Standers.
It was here in Portland 13 days after we had launched this campaign. It felt surreal then, and to tell you the truth, it still feels as surreal today.
Yeah, Senator Sanders probably, it's weird that Bernie Sanders probably has better cognitive recall of the last 13 days than this guy does. And yet he's currently leading in the polling. Correct me if I'm wrong. He has a chance to defeat Susan Collins, does he not?
I think he is favored to win right now. But Susan Collins was expected to lose in 2020, and she ended up not only winning, but I think she won by a pretty comfortable margin. I think it's going to take a lot to take out Susan Collins. I'm not sure Graham Plattner has it.
Well, do you think if Plattner loses, he'll get up to Susan Collins, and as he's doing his concession speech, he'll say, I did not see that one coming. Is that wrong?
Maybe you can write his concession speech for it.
This is mystifying to me, and especially when you consider the main voter usually would not be supportive of this kind of a candidate, but they are. They seem to be doing this. Just one of the amazing moments from the weekend and all the campaigning, and this is why I'm looking forward to the midterms. I think it's going to be really interesting. But the issue here with the Democrats wanting to grab the value of your life and say that they're taxing that. Matt, you had a breakdown on this that you wanted to share with the class?
Oh, yeah. I think someone should propose a 90% tax on any income earned by elected officials outside of their government-issued salaries. So in Bernie's case, he cashes in, it seems like once a year at this point, with a book where he'll earn multiple millions of dollars. Well, write your book, Bernie, but let's tax your income on that book at 90%. I'm sure that's the first tax Bernie Sanders would not endorse.
I would love to see that happen. That's a really good point. If we hired people to do a job, and that is one of the things that I look at elected officials, the House, the Senate, governors, presidents. In the case of Donald Trump, he's obviously not taking a salary. He's donating his salary to different causes. But if they're making more money outside of their jobs by spending time doing other things, then, yeah, I do think that'd be fair. And that's a word they love to use, fair to put a heavier tax on them going forward. We'll see. Bernie's not going to go for that. You know he's not going to go for that. And I doubt Nancy Pelosi would endorse that. She's certainly done quite well in her off-time duties of trading stocks, which her husband's doing. Sure, because they never talk about anything. But, yeah, that's one of those things. And it happens on the right, too. We know that Republicans are doing pretty well in the stock market as well. I'd love to see it. It's a good proposal, DeSantis. I like it. I have a question I would like the class to answer before we wrap up this hour. And this came from a discussion we were having. We're not billionaires in our world. We're not among the millionaire and billionaire class in our world. We're comfortable. We're okay. And my wife and I were talking about this. What is one thing that you have now that as a kid you used to say, wow, those people are rich because they had that one thing? You don't have to tell me now, DeSantis. You can think about it. Justin, you too.
Right.
What is there one thing in your life right now that you say, wow, when we knew people had that, we thought they're rich. They're really rich. Now, I'm one of 9 kids, so this covers a lot of ground for me. I'll throw one out there. When we got a second phone in the house, not a second phone number, but a second phone in the house, my dad was saying, well, I guess we've made enough that we can have a second phone in this house. And then he had to fight us over it because everybody wanted to use the phone. But we thought people that had a second phone in the house, not a car phone, not a mobile phone, just a second phone. We thought those people they were rich. They had money. You have a thought, you put it on the YouTube chat. You can share it with us at 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. Pain can be unrelenting, overwhelming, and all-consuming. So why do so many of us try to manage pain only from the palm of our hands? Doctor-prescribed opioids are appropriate in some cases, but they just mask the pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives, like physical therapy, to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. And by increasing physical activity, you can also reduce your risk of other chronic diseases. Pain is personal, but treating pain takes teamwork. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose more movement and better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit MoveForwardPT.com to find a physical therapist in your area. This message is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
A well-organized home isn't a luxury, it's a practical upgrade. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, garages, and home offices, built to fit your space and your needs. You'll work with a designer, choose the look, and get professional installation, so the project stays simple and the results last. Start with a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives like physical therapy to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Just to point out how great this show is, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker, everybody involved. We are crushing it in the YouTube game.
Thank you for making us the #1 viewed news talk show in Odyssey.
And if you ever miss the show, you can always get the podcast on iTunes, where we have a 4.9 out of 5. Vicky Herz, Herz, says, the only podcast that truly feels like a family, especially when you watch on YouTube.
Aww.
They tell the truth, they debate.
And we fight.
And most of all, they start at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Thankfully, with the podcast, I can listen anytime.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Well, here we are again, and this is looking like a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
Ron, the size difference alone is staggering.
Oh, unbelievable, Jim. And this guy is acting like he doesn't have a care in the world.
What is this guy thinking, Ron?
Well, this is one of those rare moments where I actually find myself at a loss for words.
I can hardly bear to watch.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. Railroad tracks are more dangerous than you think. See tracks, think train. For more safety tips and information, visit ctracksthinktrain.org.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
It is 4:53 on this Wednesday. Mike Opelka with you on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I got to tell you, I've been reading some of the YouTube chat during the break here. I asked the question, what is something that, as a kid, if somebody in your world had it, you thought they're rich? And I put in the YouTube chat myself, central air conditioning. When we were kids, if you had central air in your house, you had hit the lottery, the life lottery. And I grew up in Chicago, south side of Chicago, and our summers were hot and humid here. Yeah, same thing. And a lot of you are putting some pretty good answers. I know running water in shoes are jokes, but they are funny. Marcus Aurelia said cocaine. Yes. I think Richard Dreyfuss, the actor, said that if cocaine was God's way, maybe it was Robin Williams, God's way of telling you had too much money. Maybe it was Robin Williams. Somebody said $4,000 golf clubs. That's pretty funny. That is pretty darn funny. I have to admit, a TV. Someone said if you had a television. Now, I have to tell you, my dad was quite the DIY guy. He was an electrical engineer out of the University of Illinois and taught himself a lot of things, including computer programming. But he wanted us to have a color TV, but they were too expensive. Think about that, color TV. The monitor behind me in my studio is 85 inches, and it costs less. I think it costs less than a color TV that would have been in our house when we were kids. So my dad bought a kit to build our first color TV that we had in our house. There used to be a company called Heathkit where you could build your own electronic stuff. So that was the thing. And my dad actually built the very first color television we had in our house. But there's a lot of good stuff you guys are coming up. Somebody said having an Apple II computer. That's really good. We had a Nintendo, but it didn't come till late in the game. And I think the biggest one was probably a pool. If somebody had an in-ground swimming pool, DeSantis, what was it for you as a kid? When you knew somebody in your circle had something, you said, oh, God, they're rich.
So there are two. One is heated seats in a car.
Really?
Remember. It seems like a lot of the new cars now just come standard with heated seats. But I remember, like back in the day, that was a big deal if you could keep your butt warm during the winter months. So I always thought that was kind of a sign of wealth. And then the other one that popped into mind was I remember going over a friend's house in grade school, and he had an Xbox and a PlayStation, and I remember thinking, oh wow, his dad must be Warren Buffett. And now I don't know, I know a bunch of people. I have a PlayStation and a Nintendo Switch, so I guess I'm wealthy by 8th grade Matt DeSantis standards.
You are. You're the people your parents warned you about at this point. Justin, what about you?
One thing, this was like younger me. I had a friend, and he had a bunch of like older Fender guitars.
Oh.
And just seeing if you had like old, like very nice old Fenders or like Stratocasters, I was like, oh my God, you must either you know people, or you like Matt said, you are Warren Buffett.
Well, somebody said that DeSantis' answer is a typical Harvard answer. But that's good. Yeah, the guitar, if you could afford enough guitars that you could have your own band, you were probably considered very wealthy. We had a neighbor who wanted to be wealthy, but she wasn't, and so she made her kids roll up the windows on their car in the summers to pretend they had air conditioning, which basically baked the kids as they were driving through the neighborhood. Absolutely crazy. All right, got to wrap up this second hour. What time is Dr. Victoria Coates joining us at 5:30?
5:30, yeah.
Excellent.
5:30, yeah.
5:30. Dr. Victoria Coates. We'll find out what's going on halfway around the world and here in our world. It's Mike Opelka. It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills that never match what you thought you were paying? Cut the nonsense.
Right now at redpocket.com, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year.
And here's the kicker. Red Pocket Mobile gives you access to all 3 5G networks. You pick the one that works best where you live or work, or switch anytime for better coverage. And with Red Pocket, you keep your phone and your number. Why in the world would you not switch? Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Celebrate Memorial Day with big savings from Red Pocket Mobile. Right now, new and existing customers can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. Just $60 a year, and choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. That's redpocket.com. redpocket.com.
Shouldn't you expect more from your SUV? Introducing the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 with more space to fit every aspect of your life, more style inside and out, and more advanced tech features that put you in control. There's more to the Mazda CX-5 because there's more to you.
Visit Piazza Mazda of Westchester and Reading for financing as low as 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on select models. Shop online at piazzamazda.com.
Oh, the book lover's heart. It's too healthy for words.
And the nature lover's heart, it flies high with the birds.
See the art lover's heart, throbbing vibrant with color.
And the food lover's heart, it's as sweet as a cruller.
Hear the music lover's heart, how it's always in tune.
And the night lover's heart shines as bright as the moon.
But the heart of someone with pulmonary hypertension, PH for short, labors. PH puts unbearable stress on the heart, which can cause death from heart failure. And it's often misdiagnosed as asthma. But with early, accurate diagnosis, new treatments are helping people with PH live longer and better. The Pulmonary Hypertension Association gives hope to PH patients and caregivers. We want people to have
a heart that is strong for a life rich and long.
We're putting our heart into finding a cure. Learn more at phassociation.org. That's phassociation.org.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Summer is here, and that means pool days and patio nights. But is your uneven concrete making your backyard feel more like a construction zone than a vacation spot? Stop worrying about stubbed toes and stumbles. Keystone Guncrete can level your pool deck and patio quickly and cleanly, saving you thousands over the cost of pouring new concrete. We'll have your backyard party ready before your water even gets warm. Head to KeystoneGuncrete.com. Remember, Guncrete is spelled with a K. Mention 1210 and we'll take $50 off your project.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country. When I grow up, I want to be a bench on a forest trail. I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch. I want to be a skyscraper. I want to be a
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
To battle is to fight, to struggle, to overcome, and ultimately for the Marine Corps, it means to win. There is no alternative. It's not just a statement of intent. It's a promise to our nation. A promise kept for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WPHT, HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
He's a voice that cuts right through. Truth is hard, wild and true. Turn it up.
It is 5:05. Yeah, we're kicking off the second half of the program. Mike Opelka with you on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And I've had communication with our dear friend Rich Zeoli since his surgical adventure. And I feel like he's progressing well, but I don't know when he's coming. People are always asking me, when is Rich coming back? Boys, do you have any idea? Has Rich given us a target date for his return?
I think his original target was next Monday. I don't know if that's still the plan or not. He is doing well, though. I spoke with him over the weekend. I know he was watching a Mission Impossible movie marathon.
Wow.
So he's doing well, and yeah, hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back soon.
Do you know? I have not seen a single one of the Mission Impossible movies.
My recommendation would be to skip all of them, aside from the most recent two. Those are actually the best ones. The ones in the middle are really bad.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for them, and I love Tom Cruise.
Well, I didn't know what a big fan of Scientology you are, so it's really no surprise to me.
Touché.
If anyone's listening, he really wants to go clear.
No.
Hey, Tom Cruise.
Please.
Tom Cruise still follows Matt on Twitter. He's been indoctrinated.
Shut up. He really does?
No, he really does follow me on Twitter. Yeah.
Are you sure it's the Tom Cruise?
It's the Tom Cruise. He's got like 50 million followers or something, and he follows I think a few thousand people, and I happen to be one of them.
How did this happen?
I was I was bored one evening and hanging out with friends and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna tweet Tom Cruise and see if I can solicit a follow. And sure enough, he followed me back. So if you want Tom Cruise to follow you, all you have to do, I think, is just ask him.
So I wasn't too far off on your Scientology dream, was I?
Maybe it's as a recruitment campaign.
We'll talk off air about that. I don't want to get either one of us in any trouble. Just kind of a scary thing. Maybe that's a question. Dom should do that for a side question. Who's the most powerful person who follows you on social media? Because that would be Tom Cruise would be up there. Somebody who's got 50 million. I remember it was about 2 months ago. Nick got retweeted by Elon Musk.
I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I had severe social media envy. I'm not going to lie about it. I've never had anybody with that big a following retweet or repost one of my, because you're not allowed to say Twitter anymore, right? But
also, I overestimated Tom Cruise's reach on social media. He has 6.4 million followers, so significantly less than my 50 million estimation, but still probably my most famous follower. It's
Fake
between
news.
Tom Cruise and Mike Opelka. It's a toss-up.
See, I don't push. I've got like 24,000. I don't actually
good.
push for it. I don't care. And it used to be when you were, you had the blue check mark before you could buy it. It used to mean something. But we all had them when we worked at the Blaze. They gave us all blue check marks because we were media people, I guess, of some level. I made a list of things I really wanted to talk about today. And while we're talking about Rich Zeoli and his return, is it wrong for us to discuss the fact that Rich may have been right about Fidel Castro?
Oh, do I have to...
Do you have the clip?
Amend your statement. No, what's the clip that you're... I thought you were going to connect him to Justin Trudeau.
I'm not doing the connecting here. I'm just saying, I don't want anybody to be wrong. I would like you to check out my friend Katie Pavlich, who is now, she's left the Fox fold and she's over on News Nation. So she's got her own show on News Nation, and she was interviewing Alina Fernandez, the exiled daughter of Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. And this was last night, and the topic came up, Matt. Can I task you with possibly pulling the clip? I believe it's on the YouTubes, and maybe we could discuss it, because I don't want to, Rich has often speculated that there's a certain similarity, physical similarity between Fidel Castro and Justin Trudeau, and the fact that the former First Lady of Canada was a friend of Fidel Castro, may have produced some sort of sexual congress, shall we say? Is that the appropriate terminology? You don't have to push the buzzer on that one, do you?
No, you're good. You're in the clear.
Okay. But my buddy Katie Pavlich, who, by the way, truly is a great talent, it's really kind of troubling to see her leave the big camp of Fox, but News Nation probably offered her a truckload of money. Katie was talking to Fidel's daughter. See if you can pull that clip, because that would be really interesting.
I just grabbed it. I think Justin's loading it right now. We should have it in like 2 seconds.
Okay, so we'll get to that, and we'll talk about that. We already talked about Is Somebody Rich? Did Pat Verduni play the Springsteen clip with the teleprompter the other day, and do you have it handy?
We don't have it handy, and the only reason I don't is because if we play it, we're going to get hit with a massive copyright violation.
He's not singing.
He's very litigious. I think anything.
It doesn't even matter. It could be he copyrights for literally anything involving him or his image or
those
his likeness.
concerts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how we got a strike the first time. Oh, we didn't, but I believe it was the morning show got hit with a pretty heavy copyright violation.
Really? So they probably played the clip. The weirdest thing is if you watch, and I used to be a fan of Springsteen musically. You know, I'm not going to lie, I went to probably a dozen Springsteen concerts in the 80s and 90s, and then he started talking politics, and I don't care. I don't want a political lecture from one of the richest guys in New Jersey who's got walls around his property. No, thank you. But when you watch him walk these days on stage, it either looks like he's wearing a loaded adult diaper, or he's got worse problems than President Trump with his circulation problems in the ankles. Just saying. So maybe you can. Since I don't want to get you guys a strike, so you find it on your own. This was last night on News Nation with Katie Pavlich and Fidel Castro's daughter.
For years, we've heard rumors that Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada, could be your half-brother. What do you think of that?
The only thing I can say is that his mother used to visit the country very often.
Well, that may be a tell then. I guess that's a half answer.
Yeah.
Do you plan to call him and maybe find out?
No. I won't do it. If he wants, he's going to be welcome, but I won't. I think he keeps that to himself, and you have to respect that.
So do we think that's an admission, a tacit admission of some kind of connection, DeSantis?
I think it's still the official opinion of the Odyssey lawyers that we believe Justin Trudeau is the son of Pierre Trudeau, just in case.
Okay, just checking. I mean, it seems like there's a whole lot of dancing there. It could have been an opportunity there for us to break a story. Maybe Rich will dive into it a little bit further upon his return, which as soon as we get a confirmation of the return, we will share it with you. I think that's a pretty damning statement. Seems like I would have asked more questions like, has he ever shown up at family Christmas parties? Have you ever had him in the Secret Santa drawing at the house? Because I would like to know. I would think that'd be very interesting to do. Anyway, the other thing that I'm obsessed with lately, and I'm wondering if anyone else is as well, we watch a lot of crime TV in our house. I don't watch a lot of sitcoms. I don't know half of the shows that everybody talks about. They're streaming on Netflix or Hulu or all that stuff. But I do watch crime shows. And there's a brand new show that is dealing with what has been considered to be a trend, kind of a sad trend lately, and that is squatters. There's a show called Squatters. I mentioned it briefly to you in our pre-show prep chat yesterday, Matt. Did you see any of the episodes of Squatters?
I haven't watched it yet, but I did look it up when I reached out to them to see if we could maybe get somebody from the show on. It does look kind of cool. I actually might check out an episode tonight. I might be hooked like you are.
Well, episode, I think, 7, which aired last night on A&E, which always amazes me. A&E is Arts and Entertainment Network. It was in the Philadelphia area. It was a Philly episode. They've had episodes in Texas and I believe Georgia, which the Atlanta area has been one of the hotbeds of squatter takeovers of homes. And tomorrow, on tomorrow's show, so if you're here today, thank you, and we'd love for you to return tomorrow and join us. We're going to get into this topic of squatters and what they're doing in homes. But the Philadelphia one was pretty interesting because this guy moved in, and he was pretty comfortable in the house, but he had also rented out a room to somebody else who didn't know that the guy was a squatter, which is just amazing to me. And the squatter hunter is a guy whose mother had her home taken over by squatters, and he did whatever he could to get him out. Now, you can't call the police on a squatter because it's considered a civil argument. And this is what I don't understand. If you own a property and let's say you're on assignment for a month and you come home and someone's moved into your house and they've assumed possession of it by just being there, in many states you can't call the cops and get them thrown out. You can't turn off the power. They may have changed the locks. They may have other people living there. You can't do anything about it. In most states, you can't. They're just now starting to rewrite the laws. We're going to talk to an attorney about this tomorrow, so maybe you can get Flash, the guy who is the squatter hunter. And if anyone's run into this, I'd love to hear your take on it. But the reality is, squatters can't be thrown out by the cops because squatting is a civil argument, not a criminal problem. And this is what I don't get. If someone steals your car, it's grand theft auto, right? But my house is worth more than my car. If someone steals my house just because they didn't drive it away, does it mean that's not a crime? That's what I don't understand. So it's just one of the craziest things I've ever seen. If anyone's seen the show Squatters, and I'm talking about it's not on the Spice Channel 91X, it's on A&E. But there are a series of laws that you have to abide by in order to get through getting a squatter moved out. But the interesting thing on this guy, he makes life miserable for the people who are squatting. So DeSantis, you own a home. You go away to, let's say you go to spend 2 months in Arizona. Like that might happen.
It could happen.
And you come back and someone's moved into your house, the house that you own. You can't get the cops to throw them out.
That's insane. I would have never thought that. I guess you just got to call Flash Shelton at that point. But this show sounds intriguing. It also sounds as though it's going to raise my blood pressure significantly.
Well, there's a pretty good resolution within a half an hour. I will tell you that.
Okay,
but here's the interesting thing. There's no violence on the show. This guy Flash, it's a weird name he's got. Flash, who is the squatter hunter, comes in and he would come up to you, Matt DeSantis, and he'd say, "Will you sign a lease with me so I can be a tenant in the home that you can't get back?" And you give him a lease to be in your house. So now he has the ability to enter your house where the squatter is and say, "I'm your new roommate," and he makes life miserable for them. And he's a big guy. At one house, he started bringing in snakes because he knew the woman hated snakes. So he just started bringing in like 14-foot pythons and just putting them all around the place. And the lady got the hell out pretty quickly. So he's a genius in non-physical confrontation and de-escalation. And so far, he's been getting the people out. But here's my question. If you watch it today, look it up today, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. And we're going to talk about it with a lawyer. Do you think it's real? Because I'm wondering if some of the people are reenactments of some of this stuff. But the one here in Philly seemed very real. He met the couple that owned the house at a little pizza joint, and they told him, "Hey, we just want to move back into our house. We want to get married and start our family, and you just got to get this guy out." And when he hands them the keys back at the end of the show when they're successful, it's brand new. It's only gotten like 6 or 8 episodes. So check it out. I think A&E streams their stuff too, so you can see it. But last night was the first episode here in Philadelphia. And we're going to try and get an attorney on here to talk about it tomorrow, because I'm fascinated by the fact that somebody could just move into your house if you were gone for a week and assume ownership. And there's very little the cops can do. You can't walk in and throw them out, and they can change the locks. And they can say they have some sort of constructive possession. I'm not sure how that works out. But the states are far behind writing the laws on this. It's really infuriating. Really infuriating. All right. Today, the president, as we said earlier, had a press conference. And I believe the reason for the press conference, we were told it was because there was bad weather around Camp David. And the president didn't want to have everybody travel to Camp David. I don't know about that. I didn't check the weather forecast. Perhaps you can do that, DeSantis. I think this was kind of trying to do a typical Trump show of strength, where he puts on a cabinet meeting that goes on for a long time and makes the press feel like they're the weak ones, because we had the president who was questioned, his health was questioned for the last couple of days after the physical. We haven't got the full report on the physical yet, but I do think that was the response. But the president talked about a lot of things in the press conference today. Let's go through some of the clips, leading off with the president talking about Iran. This is cut number 1, please.
And we have the strongest military anywhere in the world, as you know. You saw what we did with Venezuela. That worked out very quickly. And we're doing really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran. Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job. But their Navy is gone, as I've said 1,000 times. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Everything's gone, and they're negotiating on fumes. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't. Right now, I mean, you can speak to Steve Witkoff and Jared. They're doing a good job. But right now, I think it looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall. They have 250% inflation. Their money has no value. Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that. Very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I'm doing that for the world. I'm not doing it just for us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way. We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always get the support when you don't need it. When you need it, you don't get the support. With Operation Epic Fury, our warriors are ensuring that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror never obtains a nuclear weapon, and they won't.
I hope he's right. I sense that some of the language was imprecise, but also intentional to give the Iranian negotiating team, whoever the hell they are, the ability to say he's not insulting us. He is giving the threat that we'll finish it if we have to. Maybe we don't go back, but we can finish it if we have to. He went back and forth on this. Marco Rubio was talking about a lot of different things, and he's been involved in negotiations everywhere. He's been involved in negotiations not just with what's going on in Iran. He's been overseas trying to get. He just brought a new deal to the Armenian government, and this is another new era of Trump getting better relations with a country we didn't have before. But most recently, he's been working on Cuba. And obviously, he has a leg up on anyone else negotiating in Cuba. But Rubio talking about Cuba today, cut 3.
Cuba's in a lot of trouble because, unfortunately, for them, it's run by a bunch of incompetent communists. And being communist is bad. Being an incompetent communist is like the worst. And but the country's been taken over by this company called Gaesa that basically controls 70% of the economy. None of the money in that company goes to help the Cuban people, none of it. So we'll be talking to them. We'll be working on it. You know, we want something good for the Cuban people, and hopefully there'll be a good outcome there for them. There needs to be. It's 90 miles from our shores, and having it a failed state 90 miles from our shores is a threat to the national security of the United States.
I think Rubio is doing great wonders for his future as a candidate in 2028. I think he's seen as presidential in a lot of these situations, especially in the situations where you're sitting right next to the president of the United States. But if we can get something better out of Cuba going forward, something along the lines of what we've gotten with Venezuela. Now, Venezuela obviously has a big chunk of oil that we're involved in, and Rubio talked about that as well. And we already played his clip talking about we can't allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States. The president did get questioned about assassination attempts against him, especially after we had that little shooting this past weekend, and he did address it in the cabinet meeting.
Mr. President, on the shooting last weekend, it came barely a month after the third assassination attempt against you during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. What was your reaction when you first heard about the latest shooting, and what gives you the courage to really keep doing your job effectively without thinking about these threats every day?
Well, I can't think about it, because if I thought about it a lot, I wouldn't be a very good president. I wouldn't be here, probably. I'd be up in some room with a locked door and say, just leave me alone. So I can't really think about it. If it's just something that, it's a sad part of life. It's a dangerous business. What I'm doing is a dangerous business. And they say, and look, we have been maybe the most consequential, but we certainly have been one of the most consequential. This group has been a very consequential administration. And they say if you're not consequential, you don't have so much problem. If you are consequential, you do. So you have to look at that. But it's a shame. It's a very sad fact of life. Look, anybody in office, not only in this country, in other countries too, but when you are a consequential president, your life is in grave danger. I knew that. Yeah.
Mr. President, I think he had the realization that when you are a consequential president, or as happened in the first assassination attempt, when you're a consequential candidate, your life is in grave danger. There's no stronger affirmation of the president's power or power against the left than how many people want to kill him. And we didn't hear too many reports. Over the weekend, there was a huge report that the Iranians were plotting to kill the president's daughter, Ivanka. Matt, did we hear any follow-up to that? Because that was a big story on Saturday, and then it kind of went away. Did you see any follow-up to that?
No, I haven't seen anything recently. No more details, at least.
Okay. Because I thought for certain the president was going to go back into Iran if there were a serious attempt to kill his daughter, because that is, I think that's the favorite of all his kids. But you might think Barron, but I really think Ivanka is his favorite kid. Personal opinion.
Yeah, the only just to add, the only details that I saw were that it was an Iraqi national that allegedly had ties to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard.
So an Iraqi national who was obviously crossing the lines to go support the Revolutionary Guard, or he's some kind of a mercenary. But do they have the guy? They must have him, because we haven't heard anything else about him.
Yeah, he was arrested. He's a 32-year-old. He was arrested in Turkey, actually.
Oh, in Turkey. So he'll probably end up as chum somewhere. Just saying. May not hear from that guy again. One more cut from the cabinet meeting, because this was interesting. Over the weekend, we had this stunt that was pulled at the ICE facility, the New Jersey ICE facility, which has previously been the subject of some Democrat protests and Democrat hand-wringing. And now it looks like they're trying to turn it into one of those chop zones that we saw in Seattle and Portland a couple of years ago, where the radical left builds a little village around it, and they're outside of the ICE facility. And you had Governor Mikey Sherrill show up over the weekend, because why would you mark Memorial Day with a somber tribute? No, you want to try and say, I heard there might be a hunger strike in there, so I demand you let me in. You're not feeding these people the right ethnic food. Well, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, who is on the job, addressed that issue today in the cabinet meeting.
It shows this radical left Democrats' priorities when they decide to go out and protest
a detention center where we're housing rapists, child predators, murderers, drug dealers, and they choose Memorial Day of all the time to go protest something that they say that that it's because they're on a hunger strike when there was only a handful of individuals that was refusing to eat because they want their ethnic group or their ethnic right food. Well, they can go back to their country and get whatever food they want. The fact is, we're giving them the calories they want. This isn't Holiday Inn. We're giving sanitation. But for the Democrats and the governor, like Governor Sherrill and Senator Kim and Senator Booker, to go out and do something like this of all the days is very frustrating. And we see Antifa signs are literally out there. The local police literally refusing to respond. They barricade it, not allowing our employees to come in and out. ICE has to go out there, remove the barricade, and then you have one of the senators complain because he got splattered with a pepper ball. I'm sorry, you probably shouldn't have been there.
I actually like Mark Wayne Mullen a lot more than I like his predecessor, who, by the way, have we heard anything about Kristi Noem? Has anyone seen Kristi Noem? Didn't she get a new job for a position the president created for her? I think so. No? Nobody's seen her. All right, we got to take a break. Dr. Victoria Coates, former Deputy National Security Advisor and the Vice President of the Davis Institute for National Security Foreign Policy over at Heritage, is going to join us. We'll get into it with Dr. Coates just around the corner. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000. Use code MONEY to borrow up to $10,000.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
It's Tri-County Auto time with new May deals on Toyotas and Jeeps. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. The Memorial Day sales event is going on now at Tri-County Toyota. Take advantage of special savings across their lineup, like a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% APR financing. Ask about their veterans specials. They love veterans at Tri-County. It's their way of saying thank you to those who served our country. Now, if you're ready for your next Jeep, step into a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler with legendary capability. Now leasing for just $392 a month during the Declaration of Deals sales event. Tri-County Jeep has over 25 Jeep Grand Cherokees packed full of savings. Stop by during the Declaration of Deals event and see my great friends over at Tri-County. Look for the gigantic American flag and go on their website at tricounty.com to see all the great specials. King of Prussia, Limerick, Jersey, Philly, the main line, easy to get to from wherever you are. Tricounty.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000.
Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief took care of Eric's problem.
And now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Pet parents, there are many sources to buy your pet food these days. But at Dogs and Cats Rule, we take special care in selecting our brands based on quality of ingredients, company transparency, and science-based nutrition. Coming into a Dogs and Cats Rule store with a dietary issue, we can help select the proper food. The best part of the visit is the shopping experience. That's Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 locations. For information online, visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
The working families of Laona Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. I'm Michael Naranjo, and I'm a veteran. Today, I'm a sculptor. My fingers are my eyes.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
With DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
It is 5:36 on this Wednesday. Mike Opelka back with you. Thank you for joining us. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. I always get a little bit nervous when we have Dr. Victoria Coates joining us. I feel a little intimidated, former Deputy National Security Advisor and currently Vice President of the Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy at Heritage Foundation, and author of a book maybe you should put on your summer read. As we were talking about summer book reading lists earlier in the show, The Battle for the Jewish State, How Israel and America Can Win. Dr. Coates, thanks for being here today.
Mike, always great to be with you.
Well, yeah, I do get a little spilkus when I'm talking to you. I get a little nervous, a little sweaty. And I think, don't screw this up, kid. Do your homework.
Oh, you haven't? You haven't yet.
Well, there's still time.
Okay.
Give me a chance. The one thing I love about Dr. Victoria Coates is that everything's on the table in terms of discussion with you. I know you're well versed in the politics. You're well versed in the international politics. You look beyond the initial moment that's being discussed and see what dominoes will fall down the road and see what those consequences will bring to light. But you also post stuff like the tiny blue octopus discovered.
I am worried about the octopus, Mike.
I can't see. Is this not a Disney creature? I'm looking at this going, could this be real? I saw this.
If you were the alien coming to Earth and you wanted everybody to love you, you would pretend that you were Baby Yoda. And that's literally what they've done.
See, I can't believe you said Baby Yoda, because I'm looking at this thing going, this is Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda.
If you're not following Dr. Victoria Coates, you need to follow Dr. Victoria Coates on Twitter X today. It's a New York Post story that she posted just yesterday in the middle of the day, and it truly is the most adorable creature ever. It's a tiny blue octopus, and from everything I've read, the octopus family, these are the real geniuses on the planet. It's not us.
It's the octopi and it's the dolphins. You got to keep your eyes on both of them.
Well, maybe they're in cahoots together.
They could be.
Unless they're like the Bloods and the Crips of the ocean, which I hope that's not the case.
No, I think that they're vegetarians. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's really interesting. They're very big-brained people or creatures. Yeah. So You need to check this out, people. It really is truly adorable. Look, can we talk about the cabinet meeting? I just went through playing some of the clips from the meeting today. I think part of this meeting happened because the president was flexing a little bit to show that he's healthy after all the mainstream media saying questioning whether or not he's strong enough to keep doing the job.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous. And, President Trump is a 79-year-old man. That is a fact, but he is enormously robust. And the contrast that was made today between his having that cabinet meeting, addressing his cabinet, addressing the American people, taking questions, couldn't have been a more stark contrast with the so-called supreme leader of Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei, who has yet to be seen since the elimination of his father led to his being appointed as supreme leader. Not only has he not been seen, he hasn't been heard. He won't even record an audio tape if he's alive at all because he's so worried about being found. He's hiding in isolation. He can't make a decision about the deal the president has put on the table for them. So, what you had was the leader of the free world, mixing it up with the press, hearing about the achievements of his administration, and then, and by contrast, the person who's, according to the New York Times, winning this war is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's really interesting. The New York Times, in fact, still holding that up. It's like, well, yes, they did find that one little thing, the Strait of Hormuz, that held their ultimate extermination at bay temporarily. But we're kind of hearing that the Iranians are open to maybe some kind of a deal regarding the Strait of Hormuz. Isn't that the latest word?
Well, that's what's coming out of their press. So they don't have a free press like ours. Not only will they not take questions, but they don't have a press per se. But in addition, what they do have are state-owned entities pumping propaganda primarily to the Iranian people. And so what their state television network Tasmin put out today is that there was a deal in place to potentially open up the Strait of Hormuz and discuss the nuclear program down the road. Now, what that I took from that is that was their message to the Iranian people, rather, that the blockade would be lifted. Because everyone's talking about the fact that we can't get oil out of the Gulf, but the fact of the matter is that's also the Iranians who can't get their oil out of the Gulf. So their only sort of self-generated economic lifeline that they could look to would be a lift of the blockade that the president has put on them. That's not their closing the straits. That's his closing the straits to their illicit traffic. So that's the best they can mention, or they can message to the Iranian people, is that might bring some relief, because they can't say stuff like, well, sanctions relief is coming. They're going to unfreeze assets. None of that is in their messaging, their official messaging, because they know it's not true. I think the president's really held a firm line on that. So I thought that was just a very interesting example of where their internal communications are.
The other thing that's curious about all of this, Dr. Coates, is the Iranians seem to have different numbers in terms of how much money is going to be coming their way should they relinquish the dust, as the president likes to call it, and reopen the strait. We hear everything from $24 billion in immediate release frozen funds to $300 billion in reconstruction or reparations. Is there any truth in any of those numbers, or somewhere in the middle?
I am sure that the Iranians would like all of those numbers to be true. I mean, the desperation they have for cash at this point, I don't think could be overestimated. And, they've started to lift the restrictions, rather, on their internet little by little. And, I think we're going to start to be flooded with information about what's actually going on in Iran and how bad things are. And so, I think they would love, they'd take anything at this point. I mean, they'll take millions. They are not even asking for billions. But yes, they're going to keep inflating those numbers. My understanding is that with the frozen funds, you're looking at about $12 billion, which were actually funds that the Shah had paid to the then Carter administration for arms in the 70s that the arms hadn't been delivered yet. and the United States government has kept that money frozen. So that is something that technically does belong to at least the people of Iran. So you could conceivably give them that. But I think the president's been really, really strong until the nuclear issue is resolved, not talked about, not scheduled a meeting, but actually resolved. That kind of economic relief isn't on the table.
Well, I hope not. I understand what you're saying about the $12 billion, especially if it goes back before 1979. Then there's some. I'm sure we have receipts and records on that. It's like having an escrow account that gets returned.
It's documented.
Yeah, no, that's very good. With the return of the internet to the Iranian people, you really feel like this is going to give us an open window into what's going on in the streets of Iran?
I don't think an open window, but we're going to at least get some glimpses. And it also means, to my eye, that they're desperate. And I'm calling the group around President Pezeshkian the survivalists. They just want to cling to something, probably their ill-gotten gains, their families, their properties overseas. I mean, there's a recent Mojtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader, if he is indeed alive, owns like 10 properties in London. That's what they want to keep. That's their currency. And so they're the ones who are starting to open up the internet a little bit, hopefully in their hopes, get some more commerce into the country, because that's just been brutal for them to not have internet for 88 days. And it should give us some more information. It's never going to be free and open information the way we understand it, but it should be more information.
Yeah, can you imagine 88 hours without the internet here in America? There'd be fires in the streets.
Imagine your teenager after 8 minutes.
The house would be burning. There'd be all kinds of things.
And running.
Yeah, I can't imagine 88 days. And I was surprised that Elon Musk hadn't been able to provide Starlink, but you have to have receivers to be able to deliver that too as well. So it's a question. Question no one seems to be talking about, Dr. Coates, our relationship and our partnership with Israel on this, the deal in Iran. We have not heard much in terms of the American media about that partnership. Where do we stand with Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli military on this?
Well, I think the unfortunate reality, Mike, is that both the very liberal Israeli media and the very liberal American media just like to report on what they see as a parlor game of, oh my gosh, there's friction between Trump and Bibi. They love that. Difficult phone call. Voices were raised. Well, guess what? These are difficult, important issues. And I've been on lots of calls with folks who raise their voices when they're in a strong partnership. I don't even think those reports were particularly accurate. I think they just get clicks for it. So they publish it. And the reality is, and I've had so many conversations, tears in our eyes with Israeli counterparts over the last 3 months about how joyful we are about the seamless cooperation between the United States and Israel, and how powerful that alliance is by every possible metric. You see what the Israelis were able to do in conjunction with the United States, seamless cooperation and partnership. And now, you have other countries like Japan has come to us and said, how do we become the Israel of the Pacific? I think, okay, I'm, as the Heritage Foundation, willing to do that hard work to look into what it is we can do to support you in rebuilding your military in a way that will have that seamless interoperability. And if we're going to deter Chairman Xi from going after Taiwan, that's the best way to do it. He doesn't want to have done to him what's just been done to Iran. So I think the alliance is in terrific shape. I think, the Israelis are, rightly concerned about all of this press reporting about a bad deal. But I think what the president said today should be very reassuring, that he is not looking at a bad deal. He knows what a bad deal is. That's not what he's looking for.
Yeah, I think if anybody recognizes a good deal and a bad deal, it would be President Trump. And
you would think. Yeah.
He's got to prove that repeatedly. So that makes me happy, but it also opens up another series of questions about creating Japan to be the Israel of the Asian Pacific region. And there have been reports lately that we are not selling the arms to the island of Taiwan that they want. Is that because we are looking, or is it A, is that true, and B, or is it because we're looking to make Japan be a stronger military entity at this point?
Not necessarily. And so the most recent arms sale to Taiwan, if anything, has been briefly paused. I don't see President Trump giving President Xi a veto over what he sells to whom. That's not really his mode. If he had assurances from Xi that, he would put pressure on the Iranians to open the strait unilaterally, I can see that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it depends on what was being offered. But that's not Chairman Xi's decision to make ultimately. So I think the armaments to Taiwan will continue. We hosted a very senior Taiwanese official at Heritage yesterday. He said they were all fine with what had come out of the summit, that they don't want a confrontation with China more than anyone. They don't want a confrontation with China, so they were okay with it, and that they were confident the arms sale would go through. But as you look at the map of that area, that so-called first island chain, yes, begins with Taiwan closest to China, but it ends with Japan. And what Japan has said is they are going to consider going forward that first island chain in one theater. So an attack on Taiwan, it's kind of a NATO-like structure. An attack on Taiwan would be understood by Japan as an attack on them. And that is because they know, if Taiwan, this will not end with Taiwan. This is Chinese imperialism going into action if it were to happen, and they would start with Taiwan and they would work their way up to Japan. And bear in mind, we have these Sakuku Islands north of Japan that Russia claims. And so you could have a kind of a pincher between China and Russia going after Japan. And if you think what has happened economically here in the United States is bad because of the Iran war, think about what would happen if China took Japan and Taiwan. We would be devastated. It would be a massive, massive loss, and a huge, huge gain for them to control those two manufacturing bases and economies. So that's something I really think we all should work very, very hard to prevent. It's why Taiwan matters. I'm sorry for this long-winded answer, but
no, it's good.
I really think it's important to explain to Americans this isn't just about defending freedom for the Taiwanese people. I'm glad they're free. I think that's great. It's a good example for the mainland Chinese who have the same DNA, that they could have democracy too and be a great manufacturing hub, like Taiwan, not like the PRC. But that's not why I care, about this as a matter of U.S. national security.
Well, I always look at my car remote control of my key fob for my car, and there's at least 3 chips in those car remote controls, and most of them came out of Taiwan. And if Taiwan falls, not even talking about Japan, you're not going to have chips to make just about anything work in this country. Not just our cars, but our guided missiles as well. So there are huge global implications if China does make a move on its neighbor or neighbors. It's a big stinking deal. Dr. Coates, before I let you go, can we talk about more silly stuff? Not just the cute little tiny blue octopus, but are you going to any of the World Cup matches? Are you going to be venturing into the Philly traffic?
I was looking at something. We have a trifecta coming up. We're going to have the 250th. We're going to have FIFA, and then there was something. Oh, and the World Series.
Or the All-Star
game.
The
first 2 weeks of July. All-Star
game, yeah.
The World Series, but yeah, that's down the road. The All-Star game. All these things are happening in the first 2 weeks of July. And somebody put out a report the other day that the city of Philadelphia is starting to think about this. Starting to think about this? What are we going to have? Roaming construction crews desperately, going about making the situation worse. This is going to be just traffic obelisk. I don't even know what to call it. It's just going to be a catastrophe. So I had a great time. I got to go to Qatar in 2022 and go see U.S. Iran for FIFA. which was amazing. And I enjoyed it very much. And so if somebody wants to give me a ticket and take me in a helicopter, I'll go. Otherwise, I will watch at home.
Well, we were all promised jet suits when we were kids. We were just going to fly in and fly out. So I'd be happy with that. But I won't be anywhere near the Center City area. I won't be anywhere near the sports complex just because I like my sanity. And my patience is already frazzled. Well, Dr. Victoria Coates, it is always a pleasure and honor and an education to talk to you. And yeah, you explained it well, that breakdown of what's going on and what the risk is. Nobody talks about Japan and how we didn't let Japan have military for a long, long time because they behaved badly last time they had
For good reason.
Yeah.
Good reason.
Yeah. So they've now kind of made good, and they're back in the family, so that's a good thing. But I so appreciate you sharing your brains with us, and always a pleasure, my friend.
Anytime, Mike. Take care.
And there she goes, Dr. Victoria Coates. I encourage you to follow her on social media, especially on Twitter X. That's where she has the picture of the blue octopus. DeSantis, you grabbed the picture.
Have that.
Oh, you got it, Justin?
Yep, putting it on the YouTube stream right now.
Does it not look like Baby Yoda?
I can see it.
Yeah, I mean once that thought's
eyes.
in your, it's got the same eyes as Baby Yoda. If you put it like the little robe around it, you'd say, "Oh, look, it's Baby Yoda. Look at that. How about that?"
It's got the same kind of color shade as Squidward from SpongeBob.
Well, there you go. Can't believe we got a SpongeBob reference.
We are a serious political and news talk show, I swear.
We are. I swear to God. All right, wrapping up this third hour, still fourth hour to go. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait, the risk is too great.
Visit legacybox.com/radio to save 50%. That's legacybox.com/radio to get started and save. legacybox.com/radio.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Don't make the same mistake that I did. I called my insurance company directly and they minimized my claim. Then I called Morano's Public Adjustment Group and they made sure I got paid top dollar. For all your insurance needs, call Morano's Public Adjustment Group at 445-247-8228. That's 445-247-8228. And tell them Mr. Tony sent you.
No use denying it. Old Man Winter's been hard on our homes. If it's drafty windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, or that dreaded leaking roof, PJ Fitzpatrick can take care of your home repair project before it turns into costly structural damage. Don't keep putting it off. This is the best time to call the repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. They'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their teeth-in-a-day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit pidentalcenter.com.
Lunch was great, but this traffic is awful.
Can we stop at a bathroom?
Are you all right?
I keep having stomach issues after eating, like diarrhea, gas and bloating, abdominal pain, and sometimes oily stools.
Sound familiar? Those stomach issues may actually be a pancreas issue called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Creon pancrelipase may help manage EPI. Creon is a prescription medicine used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. Call 800-633-9110 or visit creoninfo.com to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
I'm asking my doctor about EPI and if Creon could help.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Turn it up, crank the dial. Mike Opelka is back to make you smile. He's the voice that cuts right through. Back on 1210, Opelka's here for you. The truth has no agenda, and neither does he. So kick back and enjoy the show on WPHT. Mike Opelka's in your town.
Indeed, I am. It's 6:02. It's Mike Opelka right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Fourth hour of the show, kicking things off here. A lot to get to. My God, what a day. What a crazy day. I'm trying to decide what is the top story of the day. We had so many stories. We covered the press getting into the cabinet meeting today. That could be a good top story of the day. I think that's pretty good. The president outlasting the media for yet another great cabinet meeting where he just let them all in and led them around by the nose. I think that probably is it. Brought to you by our friends at Veneria Dental, veneriadental.com. If you're wondering about that smile and you want the perfect smile, check them out, VANARIA, veneriadental.com. I have not talked to our next guest, but I know some of his co-workers. One of them I was very close to when I worked at theblaze.com, and that is a White House reporter and the manager of investigations over at the Daily Signal, my buddy Fred Lucas. So I didn't do any reconnaissance work because, Fred could be pretty opinionated. But Drew Allen, who does great stuff online, if you're not following Drew on Twitter X, you should be. Drew, I don't have any secrets about you that Fred Lucas gave me, so I'm just happy you're here because Zioli loves you, so that means I probably will love you too. Welcome.
Well, I love you, and I know who you are, so I'm glad to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, how do you deal with Drew on Drew? The Drew on Drew, Dr. Drew and Drew. Doesn't that get confusing?
Well, in most cases, the others are a bunch of scam artists because they typically tend to be Andrews. And my birth certificate, as a matter of fact, Michael, says Drew Thomas Allen. So I am no imposter. All these other Andrews want to be Drews for some reason, maybe expediency, etc. But I am the real deal, just Drew.
See, now I gotta dive into this. What about Dr. Drew? Is he Dr. Andrew, and did he shorten it? Have you dived into that one?
I gotta ask him tonight, actually, when I go on. I think he is just a Drew, to be honest. But it is kind of funny to go on there. The two Drews. One's a doctor, obviously, and I certainly am not. But it'll be good. It'll be a good time for all. I've got two young kids. I've got a 3-year-old and a 16-month-old. And
wow.
When you live in this world as you do, Michael, and I do, and others do, it can be very serious all the time. And I think the trick is to take what we do seriously, but not to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And so I try to enjoy these things and have as much fun as possible.
Oh, fun is the best thing to have, to quote the iconic documentary Arthur. It really is what we have to do. Now, when you go in there, I double dog dare you to say this is an important moment in television history. We have 2 live Drews. And see if he says anything. See if he takes the bait.
I could intro with that. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, don't do anything I tell you to do. Please. But you do. You have Drew superiority over Pinsky. I will tell you this because Drew is his middle name. He's David Drew Pinsky. You are Drew Thomas, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do have 3 first names, Drew Thomas Allen. I'll tell you what, Michael. I've been doing this for a while now, and I'll go on some of these shows, and it doesn't offend me or anything. And when you're on air for a very short segment, we have a longer segment, which is fun. But when you're on air for 5 or 10 minutes and you're trying to make points, I'm not going to go and correct a host who says introducing Alan Thomas Drew. Thomas Drew Allen is the next guest, and I think no. I mean, it's Drew Thomas Allen. I mean, I get it. That's fair. It's Drew Thomas Allen, 3 first names, but I guess that does. I like that superiority. Because Drew apparently is such a lucrative name that even David Drew had to go by Drew.
Yeah, that's really it. Well, he's another part of the media universe that doesn't go by their real first names. There's another guy who has a big syndicated radio show whose first name isn't Buck. I don't want to.
Interesting.
I don't want to throw him under the bus. I know you've got investigative reportorial skills. You could probably put 2 and 2 together yourself, and figure it out. But there
aren't many sextons out there, so we'll see.
A lot going on in our world today that we're going to try and get to in this segment. I mentioned earlier we've been monitoring what's going on in New York City with the socialist takeover of a city where I lived for 20 plus years, and it really disturbs me. Although I said to my wife, I'm glad we sold the apartment before it was taken away from us and given to a charity. But this cat Hassan Piker, who I think is probably on the speed dial list of Mayor Mamdani, he's really making a name for himself, and the feds are starting to notice that Piker and his visit to Cuba are getting some attention. What's breaking there?
Well, it's really a delicious story, if I can describe it that way, because Hassan Piker, like Bernie Sanders and all the other radical socialists and communists out there, whether they're running for office or they are in office or they're just streamers like Hassan Piker, they're all railing against capitalism, and yet all of them have become multi-millionaires because of the capitalist system. And Hassan Piker makes a lot of his money also because people donate to him through those streaming services. And this is somebody who lives in a $2 million+ home. I believe it's in the Hollywood Hills in the Los Angeles area. This is a place where Leonardo DiCaprio and many celebrities have called home for a long time. And Hassan Piker is a avowed communist. So he rails against, rich people all the time, and yet he is rich because of capitalism. But what has gotten him in trouble is not that he has a mouth and, communist associations. It's that he went over to Cuba, which is obviously not a friend to the United States of America. We have recently, well, not recently, but I mean, they've been sanctioned for a long time, especially since Obama left office and we started treating them like the enemy regime that they are. And this is a place that suffers under the very ideology that Hassan Piker preaches positively about every day on his streaming service. But he went over there with this radical feminist group called Code Pink to deliver, allegedly humanitarian aid. So we're sanctioning Cuba because we want to bring them to their knees so that they can actually free the people that are living under communism. And Hassan Piker's big idea is, I love the communists so much, I'm going to go over there despite the fact that they are a sanctioned country, and I'm going to try and undermine the United States of America and help out, the communists. I mean, it's an outrageous thing because obviously, the reason the communist regime of Cuba suffers is not because of U.S. sanctions. It's because it's communism, which is true throughout world history. And so Piker has an affinity for these communist regimes. And by the way, we can get into it later, but it reminds me of Karen Bass, who's the current mayor of L.A., who's running for re-election. She went over there and spent her 20s helping build, communist Cuba. And it's just astounding to see somebody like Piker who is a multimillionaire. He wouldn't be a multimillionaire anywhere else doing what he's doing as a streamer, but he's in the United States of America railing against capitalism while becoming a multimillionaire because of capitalism. But he's under investigation because he went over there in violation potentially of a number of laws that he's broken. So, I mean, it's just an unbelievable thing that why doesn't he go live in Cuba, I guess is my question, Michael.
Well, it's obvious because he can't do what he wants to do. There'll be no power, so he can't stream. There'll be no gasoline, so he can't drive in Cuba, a hybrid car is the amalgam of like 7 different centuries of auto parts put together to create something that'll roll down the cobblestone streets of Havana and get from point A to point B so you could get your El Robustos from the cigar rolling store on the corner. Your government issued a monthly quota of Robustos that you get. Yeah, I've never understood the American communists who decries the system that has made them prosperous and wants to destroy it. They don't realize they are bringing themselves down along with the system. They can't look past the next dopamine hit that they get from all the wave of clicks on their latest radical headline. So, yeah, it is interesting. I guess he's going to win the stupid prizes because he certainly is playing a lot of stupid games.
Just he is. But, look, all of these... Yeah, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
I was going to say...
I just want to point out... Sorry. I just want to point out that all of these communists... like Bernie Sanders, who spent his honeymoon in the USSR, what they all have in common is that they're all rich. And they are pretending to be some kind of working class, grungy, struggling individual. But of course, all of them have risen to the top, and yet they're out there proclaiming the merits of communism, which of course are responsible for mass poverty in the world. That's all. The obvious point.
Well, we may need to put a condition on this and get some kind of government-funded study that will allow us to name it, like the Springsteen syndrome, where you're suddenly almost a billionaire, but you walk around in jeans and you rail like you're still the working man. I'm down on the docks again. And it's the Springsteen syndrome. The same with Bernie. He's got how many homes? He's got the lake house. He's got a couple of homes beside that. And
he's got 3. Yeah.
He's now the millionaire class. Got to ask you about the Los Angeles mayor's race. I've not followed LA politics this closely for a long time, just because I've always been one of the people who never wanted to live in Los Angeles, just because, as Woody Allen said, I didn't want to live in any town where making a right turn on a red light was the only cultural advantage, and it always seemed that way for me with Los Angeles. Do you think that that Spencer Pratt actually has a shot at pulling this off?
I do think he's got a shot. I think what's happening I think it's a distant shot, but I think he's got a shot. And the fact that we're talking about there being a shot at all speaks volumes about what's been done to California under 16 years I'm talking broadly statewide, 16 years of one-party rule under Democrats where Republicans haven't had an ounce of influence anywhere. And that we're having this conversation shows that the climate's shifting in California and even Los Angeles. I see a lot of similarities I live in California, just for the people listening. I live in the Napa Valley, but I am a Californian. For Daily Signal, I'm a California columnist, so I do write about and study these issues, and I live them as well, and it's very painful sometimes. But I see a similar climate in California, locally, statewide, as we saw in the country in 2016 with Donald Trump. And I think Spencer Pratt really embodies that very well, because you're talking about two individuals in Spencer Pratt and Donald Trump. Donald Trump on a much larger scale, billionaire, real estate magnate, bigger, a higher tier than Spencer Pratt's in.
Yeah.
But both were reality stars. They were loved by Hollywood and leftists all across the country. Spencer Pratt, of course, famously played the villain on the reality show The Hills, I believe it was, or something like that. But look, he and his wife Heidi went on to build a great brand for themselves. It's not that he's rich because he was on a reality TV show. It's because he had the wherewithal and the capitalist instincts and the ingenuity to go and make something of himself and to brand himself. And so he was very successful. And now, and look, Spencer Pratt has nothing to gain from doing what he's doing. He has everything to lose, just as Trump did. And I think with Spencer Pratt and Donald Trump, what you have is two people who were kind of outside the political system that were looking at what was happening. Donald Trump on a national scale and Spencer Pratt on a local level in Los Angeles. And they're saying, I can do better. I can't sit here and live under these idiots anymore. And so they leave their kind of comfortable life behind and get into politics. But I think that Donald Trump certainly was surprised by the reaction. I think that Spencer Pratt has quickly figured out what the reaction is. And it's all these people that used to love me now hate me because I'm not willing to support the business as usual. I'm not going to be a cog in the wheel. I'm here to actually change things. And I think it's an amazing thing. And the last thing I'll say right now about this is that, Donald Trump, they unleashed Trump-Russia collusion on him. They really did everything they could in an unprecedented fashion to prevent him every time from winning election. And he almost just ran this pitch perfect campaign where he couldn't be beaten. I mean, they released the Access Hollywood grab him by the you-know-what tape, and he just shrugged it off as locker room talk and moved forward. That would have killed Mitt Romney. That would have killed any Republican in the past. And Spencer Pratt, every response he has, every ad he has, every video that he puts out there for his campaign is just unbelievable, and it's perfect. So there's something in the atmosphere that is allowing for this situation to grow and present a possibility for a resurrection, because Los Angeles is a dead city.
It's interesting to hear your take on it as a Californian, not an Angelino, but somebody who obviously realizes what happens in Los Angeles has an effect on the rest of the state. And I have wine questions for later that I'll get into. But so based on what you're seeing, Spencer Pratt may be the right guy for the right time. And this is one of those cases. We always talk about the people who say, I'm fed up. I'm gonna stand up and I'm sick and tired of this. I'm not going to take it anymore. Spencer Pratt is actually doing that, having his Patty Chayefsky moment, and actually has a chance right now. And I would love to see this happen because honestly, I think no matter who gets elected in Los Angeles, I don't think much is going to change initially. But if you have an agent of change in a guy like Spencer Pratt, something could get better. Because it certainly can't get much worse than it is right now. And you've also brought up something right now when you talk about Trump responding to the grab him by the you-know-what videotape, the Access Hollywood tape that came out. It's almost as if Spencer Pratt and Trump both adopted this response to those questions about the insults or what people consider inappropriate language as, and? Yes, and? And it's almost like a so what thing. And if you throw it back at the reporter, it just might be the thing that stops the conversation, because if it doesn't bother you, why should it bother them? Is kind of what I'm thinking about. But we'll talk about that. I have one more question for you, but I want to get into You alluded to the Russia collusion hoax, and you have a book, The Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup, The Declassified Story of the Trump-Russia Delusion. Now, that book obviously covers a lot of what we've been told about the Russia collusion hoax, and I think we have to call it a hoax. In your opinion, Drew Allen, are we ever going to see any perp walks for any of the people who put this together? I'd even be happy if Tom Arnold was arrested because he tried to push that pee-pee tape in Russia thing.
There has to be perp walks. I mean, the future of the country depends upon accountability for this, and this isn't simply a piece of history in the past that isn't relevant anymore. And that's part of the reason I wrote the book. And by the way, other books have been written about this, but they didn't benefit from Tulsi Gabbard's declassified documents, which are extremely important. But what I'll say is this, firstly, without accountability, look at 2016. I mean, look, this was a hoax turned coup, and I make the case very clearly in the book. Obama was involved, obviously, as well, in his administration. It would have been possible without their participation. But we went from 2016 to 2020, which, arguably, right, was a stolen election, whether it was, space lasers or, just the ballots, right, and the unprecedented way we conducted elections, right? So we went to that. We went to, the Hunter Biden laptop was dismissed by, 51 former intelligence officials. They lied on paper and signed their names to say it was Russian disinformation. And then we go to 2024, and we've got unprecedented lawfare. And so actually the position we're in now in this country is actually even more dangerous than we were in 2016 because all these people are waiting in the wings to come back and get their revenge and finish the job. But in terms of perp walks, look, pardon me, I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, the DOJ going after James Comey for his 8647 seashell thing is actually brilliant. The problem with Trump-Russia collusion is it's been slow walked. So you've got the statute of limitations. And, people even like John Durham, who I think many people thought was a hero, who revealed pretty obvious things that we kind of thought and suspected about this, which was there was no justification to launch Crossfire Hurricane, the investigation into Trump during an election season. He buried the classified annex. He classified the annex, which revealed the big bombshells, which are in this book. And so now we have this seashell situation with Jay. I mean, look, I think of it like Al Capone. You didn't get him on, shooting somebody in the head, but you got him on tax stuff or whatever else. And that's kind of what we're looking at. But I think they're building a broader conspiracy case because conspiracy to defraud the United States, there's no statute of limitations that resets every time a new action is taken to further that original conspiracy. So I'm hoping we'll see that, but it's a long-term thing.
I hope you're right. And I thank you for your book. I'm happy you mentioned the fact that the book exists because I'm talking because I'm trying to cover your coughing too. I hope you're okay. We'll take you down for a second. We're going to wrap up here, but I want to give you a chance to, if you get your voice back, Drew, to say something about the lady who made this book possible, and that is Tulsi Gabbard, somebody that we're big fans of on this show, and I know your buddy Rich Zioli's a big fan as well. Were it not for Tulsi Gabbard, this stuff would not be out, and she's still got a couple more weeks that she will be around D.C. Do you have any anticipation we're going to see any bombshells drop before she leaves?
I think so. Sorry, my daughter got me sick. So here I am talking like, I don't know, a mobster.
Do me a favor.
But,
Godfather.
Do me a favor. Sorry, this is terrible for radio, but this is what you get when you have two kids in Petri dishes. I think
Drew Pinsky is going to throw. Pinsky's going to throw you out.
I know. It's live like this show. I'll be like, get that H-double hockey sticks off my show. I think we'll see some stuff from her. We'll see. I met her. She was a client of mine as a publicist, and she's amazing. I think it's disgraceful the way Forbes and others have, omitted the fact that she's leaving because her husband has been diagnosed with bone cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to speculate. I have to believe that that's the reason, but Tulsi's a hero. She loves this country. I've worked with a lot of famous people, and I haven't met all of them. I've met some of them, and Tulsi was one that I met at CPAC. And I just, I have a sense about people. I think when you work in this world that's very corrupt and horrible, frankly, you develop this sense of trusting people. And Tulsi's the whole package. I mean, the way she, even at CPAC after her speech, I watched her interact with people who just loved her. She was so authentic, and she was so, loving, and she was so respectful. I mean, I've met other people, and, they treat you, the key, like Bill Clinton was so good, even though he was a horrible person, because when you're in his presence, people always said he made you feel like the only important person in the room, the most important person in the room. And some politicians don't have that. Some people don't have that. I try to do that as a human being because I think it's important. And Tulsi does that. And so I just can't say enough kind things about Tulsi. I got a Christmas card from her in 2024. It was her and her husband, Abraham. And my oldest daughter at the time was like a little over 1. And we had a bunch of Christmas cards on the kitchen table, Michael. And my daughter, I picked her up. She's looking at the Christmas card. She points at Abraham, Tulsi's husband. And he has, I had longer facial hair back then. I have dark features, though. If you see Abraham, he's got darker features. And my daughter says, she points to Abraham, and she said, Dada? That's all she could say back then. It was a very short vocabulary. But Dada, I said, no, that's not me, actually. That's Tulsi Gabbard's, husband. But that was my big story with Tulsi and the Christmas card.
A sweet story and great memories of Tulsi, and we will continue praying for Tulsi and Abraham, and hopefully pray for you to get your voice back for Dr. Drew Pinsky's show tonight. Drew Allen, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Keep the good fight. Keep pushing the truth out there. It will prevail. Thank you, Drew.
Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care. There he goes. And I've taken a break. We still have half an hour left to go. I got to talk about books. I got to talk about Ebola. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, it's Nick. Transform any living space for summer, indoors or out, during the Memorial Day sale at Bucks County Estate Traders. Their showroom is filled with high quality, built-to-last furniture, and I love the incredible variety. No matter your style, you will find beautiful pieces for every room in your home, plus a huge selection of patio and sunroom furniture. Save 20 to 50% store-wide. The sale runs now through the 31st, so don't miss it. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their huge showroom in Hatfield. Tell them Nick sent you.
Now we're moving into summer, and it's time we find out how brutal the winter weather was to our home. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. If you're looking for a contractor that can help you with repairs during this time, or maybe you want to get a jump in those renovations, go with my guys, Emmons. They deliver protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons has always been my go-to contractor for over 10 years in 2 different homes. And they even just remodeled our kids' bathroom. Plus, you're going to get American-made products, American-made roofing products to lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, siding that elevates and insulates your home, and made in America, windows and doors that blend style and performance, made in America. Emmons has you covered every step of the way. So go to emmonsroofing.com, upgrade your home with confidence, make sure you tell them I sent you, and always go with the company that I go with because I trust them, and they've delivered for me each and every time in 2 different homes. That's Emmons Roofing, emmonsroofing.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.
Living here is about more than just the headlines. It's the new restaurant opening in Fishtown. It's the playoff energy at the bank. It's the festivals that make your neighborhood feel like home.
KYW News Radio brings you the pulse of the Delaware Valley. From service journalism that solves problems to stories that celebrate our culture, we cover the life you're actually living.
Authentic, local, factual. KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news source.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Busy day, very busy day. We wrapped up last hour with DeSantis and I talking about some of our suggestions for summer reading list. I just finished Gad Saad's latest book, Suicidal Empathy. It's a bestseller, and I want to make sure I have enough books lined up for the summer because I am planning on spending some time trying to do a little. My wife reads a book a day, and if I get a book a week, I'm doing pretty good, but she reads a book a day and not audiobook. She's physically got the book in her hand and is reading it. So I'm trying to keep up with somebody who's really just a killer reader, but I have to be interested in it. And Suicidal Empathy by Gad Saad is, I think, an astounding book. Now, it gets a little heady. There's a whole lot of SAT words in this book, but it does make sense, and you understand some of the things that we have been subjected to over the past couple of years, maybe the past decade plus, where the left has just said, you know, it's feelings that matter more than facts, have led us to some of the places where we are, that put us in some of the places where men pretending to be women were given jobs they shouldn't have had, allowed to compete in sports they had no business competing in. Every time I see Robert Kennedy and Dr. Oz, and then I realize we had a guy pretending to be a woman who was one of the highest ranking people in the government. Yeah, I'm talking about Dr. Levine. That was embarrassing. That happened. We can't wash that away. And that was part of Suicidal Empathy. It's a great book. And DeSantis, what was the name of the book that you just finished and you were suggesting?
So there are two. I got lucky. I knocked out two books, and they were both excellent. If you want, excuse me, if you want nonfiction, I highly recommend. It's an older book, but it's good. If you like philosophy, Justice by Michael Sandel. He breaks down different philosophical theories like utilitarianism, libertarianism, Kantian ethics, which is like deontological ethics. Aristotle is referenced in there. Anyway. Usually when you read those older philosophers, the prose is terrible and it's really difficult to get through, but Sandel is amazing and he breaks it down and makes it super simplistic so everybody can understand what's happening. And then fiction, I read Daniel Krause's book Angel Down. I just finished that last night. That just won the Pulitzer Prize. It's really good. It takes place during World War I and it follows 5 soldiers that have been assigned to enter no man's land, which is the area between the U.S. trenches and the German trenches in France. And their mission is to identify where these horrible screams are coming from. And what they expect to do is to basically put this injured soldier out of his misery whenever they come across him. But what they end up discovering is that the thing making these horrible noises is a fallen angel, which has been knocked out of the sky by modern artillery.
Wow.
The ending is a little bit weak, but I would still give the book an A. It's very good.
Wow, that's a great story. Is anyone movieizing that one in the near future? Do you know? Have you optioned it yourself?
I would say that if you're an executive at Netflix and you have not contacted Daniel Krause, you should do that immediately because it would make for an amazing miniseries. I think a movie it might be a little messy, but it screams award-winning miniseries to me. HBO Max and Netflix, they should be fighting over it as we speak.
Wow. That's high praise. I'll look into that. I said I have Gad Saad's book. I do have a new book from Jim Stovall, who I think we're going to hear from either tomorrow or Friday. Our friend Jim Stovall has now his 66th book is out, and it's called My Travels with... it's a spoof on My Travels with Charlie. Do you remember the book My Travels with Charlie? It's not a spoof. It's kind of a follow-up to that book. So we'll see what happens if we get Jim on to talk about his new book. And I do have, as well as James Rosen has a new book out on Antonin Scalia that I'm dying to get my hands on, but that's a monster. And Rosen's a great writer, so he will be on my table as well. So we'll see with that. But the interesting thing is, a lot of you in the YouTube chat room were coming up with some book titles, and I'm trying to figure out who said it. That they were talking about what Greg Stalker's book would be, and it was 50 Shades of Greg, which I thought that's pretty good. So I said, let's see what the book titles would be for the morning show. So what would they be? And Newman Price, I think, 91 XLRs gave credit to Newman Price. 50 Shades of Greg, I don't know. Now, I guess it was 91 XLRS said that. Nick's would be Scarlet's Web. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Someone's going to have to explain that to me. Newman said Nick's book would be $4,000 golf clubs for dummies. Ouch, Nick. Ouch. Sue said stalkers would be get off my YouTube. That's pretty good. I like it. And Sue also said Dawn's book would be Trump is my hero. Very good. Sue is brutal. Although Road Warrior, I like Road Warrior's book, Dawn-splain for Dummies, which is like Dawn explaining things. Dawn breaks stuff down very well. I think she puts together an argument very well. So we will say there are a whole bunch of names in here that I can't talk about, but you guys are good. Although Dottie said Nick's golf club adventure should be entitled How to Spend $4,000 Without Your Wife Knowing. Very good. Yeah, Nick, for those of you that don't know, Nick has the same addiction that I have, other than Nick's gambling addiction and alleged drinking addiction. I don't know if that's real or not. I've only heard that from Zeoli. But his golf addiction led him to purchase $4,000 worth of golf clubs. And that's a lot of money to spend on golf clubs if it's not your job. I'm just saying. But maybe it's going to become his job. I don't know. We will see. But if you have another idea for the books for the morning show, or even a book for me, I don't care. And yeah, Chris in South Carolina said Stalker's book title, Eat Me, not a cookbook. I think that's right, because Greg yells that a lot, I think. Very good. So I love how engaged you guys are. I love how engaged you guys are. Matt, before we came to the studio today, I said, have you guys talked at all about the Ebola virus in the past week? So nobody?
Not at all, no. I know Marco Rubio mentioned it today, and it was after you asked me whether or not we touched on Ebola. So I did grab our Secretary of State mentioning it, but you and him may be the first two people that have referenced it in probably a week and a half, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
So Rubio's at least thinking about it. He's aware of it, because CBS News yesterday reported at least 220 people have died from the Ebola outbreak, and that's just in one little section of the world. In the Uganda health authorities are saying, "Hey, we got a couple of problems here. They've got more than 900 cases, and Ebola in the first round of infections is about 80% lethal, fatal if you get it, and it happens pretty quickly." And do you know how it happens? I hope no one's eating their afternoon tea and crumpets right now. Do you know?
I don't know. I'm curious. No.
See, I'm fascinated with hemorrhagic viruses and viruses in general. The original book on the outbreak was The Hot Zone. And you should read it, because it really is fascinating. It's a true story, too. The Ebola virus, when it's a single-stranded virus, so it's very simple. It gets into your system, and it just starts basically liquefying your organs inside you. And you end up bleeding out. And you're a walking zombie. And it happens pretty quickly, like within days. It's really nasty. But once it's used up all the energy it can from you, it has to jump to another host. It has to find another person. That's why they say in these countries, when people die, they usually wash the body. And they're telling people, no, don't do that, because when you wash the body, you're coming in contact with the blood, and that's where the virus goes, deep, I got a new host. We're gonna make this guy's insides jelly too. So that's the problem. But it is really nasty. So I'm thinking we should be worried about it. And Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, the guy who has like 19 other jobs, he brought it up in the cabinet meeting today?
Correct. This is cut number 4. This is Rubio in the cabinet meeting.
Okay.
Something else that I know is concerning people, because it's on the news, is Ebola. Our number one obligation, we're involved in foreign policy, but even our foreign policy, the number one priority of our foreign policy is to protect the American people. We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States. And so the State Department and other agencies represented here, the Centers for Disease Control, HHS, others, are working very, very hard to contain this crisis to the countries where it's currently located, particularly the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so we've surged assistance to make sure that is being contained there. And obviously, multiple agencies involved here are also very involved in tracking people, just to make sure that nobody comes into this country that has Ebola and creates a problem for us. And we feel like we've got good efforts in place to do that, and Americans should feel assured that the President and his administration is doing everything we can to protect them on that front.
See, I'm all okay with the president going, okay, nobody from the Democratic Republic of the Congo is coming here. And nobody from Uganda is coming here. And then the mayor of New York, whose family's from Uganda, would be screaming racist, racist, racist. But I'm okay with that. A virus that basically liquefies you from the inside out, I really don't think we need to welcome it here. You know, remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago when we had the hantavirus? And we sent those people, we sent them to Nebraska, and they were sequestered on that Nebraska military facility for, well, I guess they're all probably still there or should be getting out soon. Do you know what that facility was originally set up for? Ebola.
Was it Ebola? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
2013, when we had the Ebola outbreak that killed a whole bunch of people. And this thing kind of goes away and sleeps in a cave for 10 years, and then it comes back. So here we are again. So I started thinking, in order to get the word out, because nobody's talking about it, we need an ad campaign, right? We need kind of a song or something. So I did a couple of Ebola songs. I'd like your opinion on them. They're short, because you know me. I like short little songs. I would offer these to the government to use as sort of public service announcements. So let's go through them one at a time and see what you think. This is one of the first Ebola, a little Ebola PSA song.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
Now, I started with kids, right? Because who doesn't like cute little kids singing about Ebola? But not, my wife goes, what if someone's name is Ebola? They're going to say you're being mean to them. So do you think I'm being mean to, if there is somebody? Do you know anyone named Ebola, DeSantis?
That'd be a very unfortunate name. Thankfully, I don't know anyone named Ebola. Or if they are named Ebola, if it is on their birth certificate, it's not a name they go by publicly.
Yeah, I would love to know somebody who's got the name Ebola. But let's see where this goes with, because I told my wife, but the kids are so cute.
First comes fever, hot and high. It's just a bug, the people cry. Then the aches begin to shout, and the strong are worn right out. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Whispered rumors, fear runs wild. Fever takes the weak and mild, and the strong one's organs liquefy. Blood where blood should not run dry. Liquefy an organ, children scream like a nightmare nursery dream, bleeding out and fading slow. That's the road you don't want to go. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Clap your hands and count to 10. Hope we never meet again. Wash up well and don't deny. Some bad fevers don't pass by. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
So you got to have the pan flute in there, right? It kind of softens it.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
So that's number one. What do you think of number one? Will it get the message out and keep people calm?
You know, it's very cheery. It was upbeat. It makes me wonder if there might be a few less intelligent people out there that try to contract Ebola because it sounds fun.
That's a really good point, DeSantis.
It could
Thank
be
you.
dangerous, yeah.
So let's pivot to number two, and I think maybe there's a little something here. I was trying to go for either a Rihanna or kind of a Beyonce feel to it, you know, with still the kid attraction thing, kind of thing.
If you feel fever rise or your body aches and cries, do not wait, do not roam. Tell a grown-up, stay at home. Ebola, Ebola, keep your hands away. Ebola, Ebola, call for help today. Ebola, Ebola, listen, this is real. Get care fast, that's how people heal. Blood or vomit, sudden pain can mean danger in your vein. Wash your hands and keep apart. Protect your friends, protect your heart.
So blood and vomit, It's not what you hear in a kid's song all the time, is it?
It sounds like something I'd hear on a Disneyland ride. Like it's a small world after all.
See, that's it. When everyone has a story of being trapped on It's a Small World After All, I think that they do that. Every other group of carts that go through that ride, they stop them for 30 minutes and torture them with the song. But eventually you start hearing things like this, blood and vomit all around. That's kind of a thing. So the kids think
catchy.
It is kind of catchy, and it has that Dora the Explorer tone to it, does it not?
I like them both.
Okay, well, maybe it's the poppy one. Maybe it's the Rihanna/Beyonce hybrid that makes it work here.
Ebola, Ebola, I don't want to know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't want to know ya. First comes fever, hot and high, just a bug, the people cry. Then the aches begin to shout, and the strong grow worn right out. Whisper rumors, fear runs wild. Fever takes the weak and mild, and the strong ones' organs liquefy, but where blood should not run dry. Liquefying organs, children scream like a nightmare nursery dream. Bleeding out and fading slow, that's the road you don't want to go. Clap your hands and count to 10, hope we never meet again. Wash up well and don't deny, some bad fevers don't pass by. Ebola, Ebola, I don't want to know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't want to know ya.
So I think the clapping kind of makes that one, don't you?
Everyone's talking about what is the song of the summer. What's it going to be for 2026? I think you may have found it, Mike.
I don't know if I could ever surpass Despacito from about 10 years ago, but maybe I think I got Justin to laugh on that one. You think we might have something here with our little Ebola? Because listen, Uganda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo closed their borders today because they're worried about Ebola crossing the borders. So I think, and Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization is trying to make this a big deal because there's money behind it if we all pour money into the World Health Organization. And let's face it, hemorrhagic fevers, if you pick up the Hot Zone this afternoon and start reading that book, you will not sleep tonight because you will want to finish it, make sure everybody gets out okay. But the reality is these are very simple creatures, possibly the simplest creatures on the planet, these single-stranded viruses. And they kind of go asleep for a while, and now they're back. So Ebola's back.
The infection rate is a lot higher than I would have expected because I know last month people were, maybe even earlier this month, the news cycle moved so quickly, but people were talking about hantavirus and the infection rate was something like 0.4 or something. It just wasn't going to spread, at least not rapidly enough to become a pandemic. The infection rate for Ebola is 1.5 to 2. So for every one person that is typically infected, they'll infect another person or two people on average, which is alarmingly high. Originally, COVID-19 was 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Now, Omicron, I think, ended up going to 8. But still, that's more infectious than I would have expected, especially for a disease or a virus that deadly.
The infection level combined with the lethality in the first, and it does jump from person to person, as you said, with the infection rate pretty quickly, and then the lethal nature of it diminishes the next time. So if the virus hits patient 1 and then destroys that guy or woman, and that jumps to the next person, the lethality almost is cut in half, but it's still pretty deadly. That's the crazy part. Really crazy. So what do the people think? Is there one clear winner on this? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Is it the hybrid of Beyonce and Rihanna?
Yeah, I think my vote goes for number 3.
Number 3 is looking like the clear.
I love that song.
Well, that's the only thing we could do is play it again.
Ebola, Ebola,
Clap along.
I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. First comes fever, hot and high, just a bug, the people cry. Then the aches begin to shout, and the strong grow worn right out. Whisper rumors, fear runs wild. Fever takes the weak and mild. In the strong one's organs liquefy, but where blood should not run dry. Liquefying organs, children scream like a nightmare nursery dream. Bleeding out and fading slow. That's the road you don't wanna go. Clap your hands and count to 10. Hope we never meet again. Wash up well and don't deny. Some bad fevers don't pass by. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya. Ebola, Ebola, I don't wanna know ya.
Clap along. I love the fact that my buddy Newman Price is walking through the Acme in Jenkintown playing it at full volume. God bless you, Newman.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait. The risk